Ooh. Is that Skull? It's Skull.
Is it? No.
No?
Steve Gunick.
Ooh.
Is it up and going? Is
Uh,
this the
we
thing
should
with
be.
the monitors up there?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like, oh.
Yep. There we go. And we are live. Welcome to Talking Heads, episode 87. I did check to make sure that is the right number.
It is actually 87.
I actually went back about 5 or 6 weeks and went 86, 85, 84. Okay, 87.
Yeah.
All set. Welcome to the show, episode 87. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Steve.
Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I did that backwards, but that's okay.
Was it going to be tech and beer news?
No, it's beer and tech news. I'm Jeff. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We do the names after the intro. Yeah.
Whatever.
Gosh. All fuddled up tonight.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in
We'll
post.
fix it in post.
We'll do it live.
Do it live.
Do it live.
Well, we are doing it live. So.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, no. I'm not ready for that either. Welcome to the show, everyone. We're hoping to stay live all night long, even though it's kind of a little blustery outside, as Pooh Bear would say.
Yeah, it's a bit stormy out there. We've had some lightning. We've had some thunderstorms. It seems to have died down a little bit, though.
Seems to have died down, so I think we're in the clear at this point. But just in case, pretty much everything is on a UPS tonight, and I did verify that those are working for a couple of seconds. So cable modem, switches, server, camera. Camera's actually on battery tonight. And then my computer just keeps streaming, and laptop's obviously on a battery. So even one of my studio lights is on a UPS.
Yeah, so if you hear a lot of beeping going on, then you know the power went out.
Right. It'll get a little bit dimmer, but we'll stay on the air.
Yeah.
So, and then I got about 30 minutes of video feed.
The rest of Jeff's family, they can suffer.
Yeah.
The stream is what's important.
Screw 'em. Actually, Wi-Fi will still work, so they're
okay then.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
Yeah,
That's all you really need to survive nowadays.
Yeah, my server stack and my Wi-Fi point are also on UPS, so we should be all set. Got a good show for you tonight. If you are new to the show, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a family-friendly show as much as we can make it that, although we do drink beer. So
it's family-friendly beer.
Yes, exactly. But we start out the show with about 20 minutes of beer or alcohol-related news, and then we migrate into tech, and then much later in the show, entertainment, pop culture, gaming, things that interest us.
QA if we have time.
If we have time, sometimes a little Q&A at the end. So do save your questions to the end. Usually the last 20 minutes, we try to devote a little bit of time to Q&A if there's something out there that we didn't cover already. So let's get into the best part of the show.
The beer.
What are we drinking?
Well, we got this is from
Skull.
One of our users, Skull. He's a Discord user.
As Whiskey Tribe would say, "You magnificent bastard."
So this is a Brickstone Brewing, Bricked Phased. The Phase 3, I guess.
It's probably the best mooch impression I could ever do.
Yeah, you're really good at those impressions.
Thank you.
This is a milked hazy because it's brewed with lactose.
Yes. Double dry hopped hazy IPA.
With Cryo Citra, Mosaic, and Amarillo. So this is probably going to taste absolutely wonderful.
Yes. It's going to have some bite. It's going to be punchy and that lactose acid finish.
No, the lactose is actually going to make it slightly sweet.
Yeah.
The alpha acids in the hops might give it a little bit of burn. I don't know.
I'll say it's going to be conflicting.
Yes.
You brought an ecliptic Tucana tangerine sour.
That's right.
Seasonal. And this is a 4.8%.
Yeah, it's not a very high,
nice
but
little session beer.
I had one before, and it's actually pretty good.
Yep. And this one, the Ruthless Rye IPA from Sierra Nevada. Fantastic rye beer, and it's been a long time since I've had a good rye beer.
I haven't had a good rye beer in a long time either. And I really do enjoy a good rye.
Anything you want to start with?
Oh,
Done. Steve is a sucker for a hazy.
I am. I've been liking them more and more.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of hard to find one that doesn't kind of give you that burn in the back of your throat towards the end.
I like hazies, but as I've said many times, for about the first 4 ounces.
Yeah.
Just not going to make that joke. Had a joke. But. All right. And as always, let me know what you are drinking down in chat. Love to give shout outs for drinks that are happening down there.
The Milk Creek brings all the boys to the yard. Oh, it smells good. Ooh, it has like very orange.
Yeah. Orangey.
Wow. Not as juicy as I was expecting, but it has a really good citrus flavor. Then it kind of falls to the sweet.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's not too overpowering.
Ooh, yeah.
And that sweetness at the end.
We'll see if that acid kicks up at all.
Yeah.
But that sweetness at the end is it's a savory but not syrupy. It's a real rich like a red velvet cake kind of finish. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's
it's smooth, creamy, sweet a little bit.
That is so good. Drinking a Thirptation malt beverage flavored with pine, oak, and hemp. About to crack open a gentle reminder collab from Pizza Port and Modern Times. Themptation.
Modern Times does some good beers too.
Two Hearted, Steve. Oh, cheers to that, buddy.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those down in my fridge. We're going to crack those open for the 100,000, whatever we do for 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. We've got that. We've got a Sierra Nevada Pale. We've got a Heady Topper. I'm going to get all of the breakfast stouts. Mm-hmm. And I'm also going to get the all-day IPA so we can literally drink like the top beers in the country 1 through 8. That's my plan.
Okay. Is all-day IPA one of the top?
It was number 7.
Was it really?
Surprisingly, yeah.
See, it's an okay IPA.
John and I talked about this last week. What the hell? Like no offense to the Sierra Nevada Pale and all-day IPA.
Yeah.
They're fine beers.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them, but they are far from the best beers I have ever had in my life.
Are they going by like most sales or something?
I
like
have
that?
no idea.
Sales or...
But Two Hearted was number 1. Sierra Nevada Pale was number 2. And Heady Topper was number 3.
Huh. Well, I know. I actually have never had Heady Topper.
Yeah.
But people say it's really good. Personally, never had it. So I'm looking forward to trying it.
I only have 1 can of that. No. So we're going to have to split that 4 ways.
We'll all get little tiny taster. Well, I have a set of taster glasses, so if you need me to bring that.
Yeah. No, we actually probably will need that for doing that. Let's see. Pirate Imported Rum. Nice.
That sounds good.
Stag, Mount Gay Black Barrel, and some ginger ale. Ooh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I'm a sucker for a good rum.
Yep. Yeah, especially a thick black rum. That's my wheelhouse. Like spiced rum is okay. I do like a good white rum as well, but give me like as black as
blackstrap rum.
Yes, so good. Maxwell House medium in a styrofoam cup.
Hey, all right. Somebody's going all class tonight.
That's right. Let's get into some beer news.
Yes, right away.
So first on the list, there's been quite a bit of eco-friendliness trying to come to beer packaging as of late, and we're going to start with a couple of different stories of that.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Corona has a new beer can.
That's right. They don't want to see them turtles all choked up with the old little... So everybody's thinking about new designs, and this is Corona's idea, and I think it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is that instead of snapping them all together in a ring or something, they have them all screwed together. So like they're all stacked up on top of each other, screwed up. So you just have to hold one, and they're all stuck together.
Yep. Kind of an ingenious idea to use the can itself as the packing material.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is that I can see 6 of them. A 6-pack, it's going to get a little awkward to kind of carry around. That's kind of the real
They said
issue.
10 beers is 4 feet tall.
Yeah. So
not exactly like one-handable 6-pack.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to carry around. But the fun thing is that you can turn them into swords.
Yeah.
So instead of going out to the store and hey, give me a pack of beer, say hey, give me a sword.
Give me a staff.
Sword. Give me a staff of beer. Yeah. Give me a bow staff of beer.
Moosehead Lager, Water Gang, our Hydro Homies over on Reddit, if you're a fan.
Yeah.
So give me a sword or a staff of full of Corona.
It's gonna transform LARPing altogether.
I've already seen the Corona Shield Warriors.
Yes. Yeah. It's like wait. I'm gonna cast Fireball after I drink the spear.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt. Can.
Yeah, no, the Bud Light King, I'm pretty sure, was inspired by real events.
Yeah. I'm sure it was.
My mind went to jousting. That is a great idea.
Jousting, yeah, that'll be okay.
So yeah,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a brilliant idea, and you can have a lot of fun with it.
I think it's a great idea, and again, there's no waste there. The cans are recyclable. You're using the can itself as a packing material.
Oh, I know what's going to happen now. Huh. If they do this, okay. So like when you have karate, they have karate demonstrations, and they see how many boards they can hit. Now they're going to do this. How many cans they can crush on their head. They can just screw them all together. It'll be like, I did 5.
Yeah.
They'll just stack them all up and go, bam. That's what's going to happen.
My record's 4. I can't get through the 5th.
Yeah.
Ouch, I'm out of craft, man. Come on. Sorry, buddy. You're in our hearts. And the beer is in our glasses.
Yep.
MillerCoors, not to be outdone, is taking a concept that we've seen a couple of times from a couple of craft breweries, and this is the largest beer maker to attempt it.
Yeah. And
that is using an eco-friendly 6-pack design.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have to change the camera because I never changed it back in the first place.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There we go.
So yeah, no, we have. It looks kind of some kind of recyclable material. I didn't really remember reading what it was.
It's some kind of...
it wasn't a plastic, but it's a biodegradable something.
Yeah, it's a paper cardboard mix-up.
From the look of it, I thought it was like nacho tortilla type stuff.
I think that's exactly what it is.
It's just a nacho tortilla,
yeah.
Which would be nice because you could buy it with a little bit of nacho cheese. Mm-hmm. You can have some beer and some nachos all together.
That'd be great to get like 4 beers and then a thing of chips and a thing of sauce just in a 6-pack.
Right there. Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
So you mix it with the screw idea, so you have a little can of salsa at the bottom.
Oh, there.
You just screw it into it. So
we need to patent that.
Your chips and your salsa at the bottom. There we go.
Grown-up damn Lunchable.
Yeah, and it could be Corona. It would go with the Corona theme, right?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
You got a little fiesta in a pack.
Yeah. Beer can fort.
Yeah, beer can fort.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with the nachos.
Yeah,
I really do. Because that's what this material reminds me of is the nacho cheese or the ballpark nacho container.
Yeah, it does. If you look at the picture, it kind of does look like. I'm sure. Like, as soon as I see this out in the store, I'm going to take a bite just to see what it tastes like. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't taste good, a little bit of hot sauce fixes everything.
That's right.
Much, so.
A little Tabasco, a little...
I'm not a big fan of Tabasco.
You're a sriracha guy.
I don't like the vinegar-based hot sauces.
Yeah.
Like if I look at the ingredients and if vinegar is the first or second, I know right away that I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
But no, I like the ones where it's like, tomato-based or...
Yeah, I do tomato-based. I do salsas. Yeah. That kind of thing. I'm not a hot sauce guy at all.
No. Aardvark sauce is my absolute favorite.
Ooh, good stuff.
That is good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's not that I don't like heat. I don't like heat for the sake of heat. I want flavor added. I don't want to just feel the burn.
Yeah, there's some that are just insanely hot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like those too much either. But that's why I like Aardvark.
Yeah.
Because it's got a really good flavor to it and it's got a little kick to it.
I would be interested on going on the hot ones though. So if anyone has a line to him, I would love.
That would be interesting. Now, have you?
I would love me some hot wings.
Have you ever gone to Fire on the Mountain up in Portland?
I've not been to that one.
Yeah, see that one's pretty good. They have the I forget what their super hot one was called. El Jefe. That's right. It's called El Jefe. And
well, that's me.
Yeah. That one, I could only have one of those. That one was just that was just hot for hot's sake.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I don't like. I don't like biting into a chip and all I taste is hot.
Yeah.
I like flavor. I like texture with it. I don't want just my mouth is on fire.
Yeah. Like what's the Salvador Molly's up in Portland? They have the balls of fire.
Yeah.
Those were ridiculously hot too.
Yep.
I one of those and it just ruined my meal.
And in other news, what was next? Oh, Iceland.
Iceland.
We're getting our second Scandinavian Nordic brewery
right. Mm-hmm.
taken hold here in Portland.
That's right.
So Iceland's KEX brewery is the latest European brewery to come to Portland and start up and start brewing.
Now, do you think it's an acronym, KEX, or is it KEX? Or KEX? Because those Icelanders.
It might be KEX. It might be KEX.
They love their K's and their X. It's like you got Reykjavik. There's like a lot of K's in that thing.
I think it is probably a Reykjavik abbreviation. It's shortening of that. So Rex Brewing, Reykjavik Brewing, that kind of thing. I think that's what they're playing off of. I don't know. But Rex Brewing plans to come to Portland in the fall of 2019, joining McKellar, which just opened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they opened. Well, they did I think it's pop up. I don't know if they're staying permanently or not.
They're kind of doing a gypsy brewing in the existing
Burnside Brewing, the Burnside Brewing one.
Yeah. So they basically took all the Burnside equipment and they're brewing in there, and they're doing a small tap house and eatery, and just seeing if it works. And as luck would have it, KEX is coming right behind them. They'll be coming into a hotel that is being built right now on MLK and Couch, up in downtown Portland. Couch. Thank you.
If you're from Portland, you know it looks like couch.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced couch.
Yeah. Well, I'm not from Portland.
Yeah.
I'm from Eugene.
Well, I'm not from Portland either.
Yeah.
I just go up there enough to know it's not pronounced couch.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna get to Portland enough.
Or maybe it's Kex, like they have the cereal Kix.
Yeah.
Kix is for kids.
Kex is for adults.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that could totally work.
They're both grain based, so why not?
You know what? Talking about the cereal beer last week, Kex beer.
Kix beer, yeah.
That's right.
Hey, there you go.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Kid tested, mother approved.
Yeah.
I could totally see that working. Any other thoughts?
On beer?
Yeah.
Besides me wanting to drink it? No, not really. I mean, it's been a little bit of a slow beer news week, I guess.
I'm enjoying the heck out of this.
This is very good. It's almost like an orange juice, to be honest.
It really is.
Yeah, because that sweetness really makes it feel...
Yeah. You can tell it's a lactose and a hazy beer right off the front of it. Now, normally that flavor is trailing towards the back of the flavor.
Yeah.
It's the acid burn and the just like scraping down your throat. And like I said, I love hazies, but I love the first 4 ounces of hazies. Yeah. I can't stand them after that because all I taste is the lactose or the acid
the alpha acids.
Yeah, the acids that are left in there, and I lose all of the flavor.
Yeah.
I'm losing none of the flavor because it leads with the acid, which is really weird. And then there's this super sweet,
and it's
Sunny D-like finish to it.
Yeah, it's almost silky smooth. Too.
Yeah.
It's like really silky smooth.
Yeah. This is so good.
It's too bad it's not around here.
Skull, how do I send you donations?
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, this is Illinois.
Bourbonias. Is that how you pronounce it? Bourbonias? I don't know.
Bourbonias, I would guess.
Say Bourbonias. Yeah, Illinois, so.
Yep. Which, anything named after bourbon's got to be good.
Yeah, that's got to be good, right?
Yep. Anyway, Brickstone Hazed Up Series, Brick Phased.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah, if you're in Illinois, we recommend it.
Super good.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on this?
7.6. It's a double, so it's got to be up there.
7.6. Yeah. So it's technically a double, but
it's
only by 0.6%.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's just right there. And I think it's 7.6 is the limit. That's like where the double starts. So
I thought it was 7.0.
I think it was 7 something. I'm not 100% sure.
Thought it was...
Maybe someone in the chat could look it up. John probably.
John, what is a double IPA? I thought it was 7.0. Could be a double.
I thought it was over 7, but it was like 7.5 or 7.6 or something like
that. Yep. Skull says he accepts all donations in beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may have to hook you back up again.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
If I brew a beer and it turns out bad, then we'll have plenty to send you.
Yeah, we'll send a little growl out of that. All right. Moving into some tech news. And there are some interesting news stories this week. Yeah.
Okay, that's the right one. Okay, yep.
We will start off with In Memoriam.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It seems to be on its death knells.
Yeah. Well, everything's 50% off. And there's only one thing that comes after that. And that's death.
Well, no, not necessarily. They are... Well, here, go ahead. Let's switch it. Let's start talking about it.
ThinkGeek is possibly coming to an end.
Yeah. Their online store is shutting down. And... I don't know if it's the remainder of the inventory or if they're going to have a continuing inventory, but it's going to be sold at GameStop.
Right.
Which that's a kind of a dying thing. I mean, brick and mortar...
This feels like maybe a last gasp for GameStop.
Yeah, it seems kind of weird that it would go from an online store to a brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
That seems like the opposite direction you kind of want to go.
I mean, look at Sears for a better example.
Yeah, exactly. So,
You could buy a house in 1915 and have it delivered to you, drop shipped, and then it was flat packed and you could assemble it in 1915 from a catalog. Mm-hmm. And Sears went, no, that's a terrible model for 2002. We're going to stay brick and mortar.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like, this internet thing's a fad. It's just a fad.
This'll pass.
This'll go away. Just like fax machines. Those were a fad.
Fax me a beer.
You wouldn't download a car, would you?
I totally would.
God damn, I would.
You know I would. Hank Williams Jr. fax me a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what was your favorite ThinkGeek product of all time? Let's start with that, because they had some doozies out there.
They had some stupid stuff, but they had some really good stuff out there. And I don't think this wasn't only on ThinkGeek, but I actually bought it, and I get comments on it all the time. And I know we originally ordered it from ThinkGeek. Mm-hmm. It was the knife stand, the red knife stand guy.
Oh, the knives in his back?
They're in his front. But yeah. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, I love that. I love that nightstand.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple different places. I think it's shown up at...
I first saw it at ThinkGeek, and that's where we got it. We're like, oh, I got to have that. And I think it showed up at Amazon.
It's on Amazon now. Yeah. So, my favorite that I've ever seen there, besides the Anoyatron.
Oh, yeah, the Anoyatron.
Anoyatron's probably number one.
Yeah.
Was and they had an upgrade. They have two different versions of that. Mm-hmm. They had the standard Anoyatron, which just did a beep at random intervals. Mm-hmm. Then they had another one which also changed the harmonics of where it was how it was beeping.
All right.
But still in that super chirpy, like smoke alarm style chirp where you cannot tell what direction the sound is coming from.
Oh yeah, where it seems like it's bouncing off the walls. You can't really tell. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. The Anoyatron was great. Mm-hmm. It was a phenomenal product. They had a USB hub that was like a nuclear launch.
Oh yeah,
thing.
Didn't they have a USB hub that was also like warp core?
Yeah, they had a warp core one. They had the car charger, which was the flux capacitor.
Yes.
So you plugged it into the cigarette lighter and it did the light up thing for the flux capacitor. That was cool.
In the same vein as the Anoyatron, they had I never got this, but I thought it was a pretty brilliant idea. It was an alarm clock that had like, I don't know, when you were a kid, they had the little launcher toys where you'd hit a button and it would spin up like a little helicopter. Yeah. So they had this little gyro helicopter thing on the top.
Yeah.
And when the alarm goes off, it launches it. So it goes flying across the room. You don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
Because you're asleep barely right now. And so the alarm does not go off. There's no snooze button.
Yeah.
It doesn't go off until you find that thing and put it back into the alarm. So it forces you to get out of bed and find it. And by the time you find it and put it back in, you're like, I'm awake.
Yeah. My thing is I sleep with windows open.
Yeah. And so just go flying out the window. You're like, it's not coming back.
Now I can get some sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
People just stick their finger in there and just like, I'm going back to bed.
The April Fool's gags.
Those were good.
Personal favorite, the Betamax to HD DVD converter.
Yeah.
Personal favorite.
Oh, yeah.
The one dying medium to another.
Yeah.
There was someone pointed out the wireless power, wireless extension cords.
Oh yeah. Well, there was I think there was like wireless hoses too. I think I remember seeing at one point in time. Yeah.
The Tauntaun sleeping bag, which eventually became a product,
a real thing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you can know the warmth of snuggling into a Tauntaun on Hoth. Yeah. Anoyatron could do Cricket's doorbell too. There was also there was another Atron. I don't remember what it was called, but it was diabolical. It would whisper.
Oh yeah. So it's like kind of creepy. Yeah.
It would whisper. There was one that could do multiple sounds, and I think that's what you're thinking of, AJ. That it would do crickets, doorbells, whispering, satanic sounds. Speaking Latin backwards, that kind of thing. Yeah, those were all fantastic. So, going to GameStop, boy,
I don't know. Do we even have a GameStop around here still? I think there's one up in Wilsonville.
No, that one closed.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I don't know of where there's another one.
Yeah. There's one in Salem. There's one in Lancaster Mall.
What's the one at Keizer Station? Is that one?
That's also a GameStop.
Okay,
that's right.
That's a GameStop. So there's a GameStop there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one in Salem. There's one at Keizer. The one in Wilsonville closed, so I think the next one up is maybe Tualatin or Tigard.
Okay.
But they're few and far between.
Yeah.
There's only like one more,
and they're not big shops. And
right?
And it says in the article that it's only going to be a small, tiny section. So you're not going to get the variety that you got from the website, obviously. So you're just going to have a small smattering of things.
Right.
Yeah.
And whether or not they're still going to manufacture those things, or whether they're just clearing inventory through GameStop.
Well, I think for the most part, a lot of that stuff you can get on Amazon now.
Yeah.
So they don't really have too many super unique products.
Yeah.
They've kind of gone the way of the old Sharper Image. You remember Sharper Image?
Oh yeah. They had a store in Washington Square Mall.
Yeah, they had one.
Yeah.
They had one that
with all the robotic vacuum cleaners and the plasma discs.
Oh yeah. And everybody went in there and just sat on the massage chair.
And the 3 megapixel digital cameras. Yeah. Back when point and shoots were already dying, they had the single CMOS plastic lens. Yep. Good times.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
Go like 3 of their cities. Wow, dude, you just powered through that.
It's good.
I know it's good. That's why I want to savor it.
It's so good. Like I'm surprised because I know I've let you talk a little bit more than usual, but
oh yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah,
that's very nice of you.
Everyone always gives me crap when people come on because I talk over. It's like, well, I am the host. They're the co-host. They're here for color commentary.
Yeah. I'm just here to put BS spin on.
I'm the one who knows crap.
Yeah, you start talking numbers and serial numbers, and I'm just like glazing over.
The funniest thing ever was when we went to CES, Rhett and I, this last year, or I guess in January, I wanted to get Rhett involved in some on-screen personality type stuff. And so we did the first day where Monday we were on the show floor, and so we were walking around and looking at some of the exhibits and filming. And I went, I'm going to do 3 of them. I want you to do 1. Mm-hmm. I want you to find something that's interesting to you, and I want you to talk about it. And he did a phenomenal job.
Wait, are we going to be talking smack about Rhett behind his back?
No. This was more just a funny thing because
he's supposed to be here tonight. And I'm taking his place.
Right? Yeah. Well, then we're going to talk smack behind his back.
Smack about his back.
Screw that guy. Yeah. So he did a phenomenal job with the multi-touch trackpads that were there. He loved that thing, and it was music. It was right up his alley, and he did a great job covering it on the show floor. Well, anyway, that night there were a couple of press events. One of which we went to. We went to the Gigabit event, and then there was the NVIDIA event, which we watched from our hotel, ironically enough, because I didn't want to fight the traffic on the opposite side of the strip from us.
And sometimes watching on TV is the best seat.
Right. Yeah. We got the full experience, and as I predicted, it was the exact same presentation they gave at Gamescom 4 months ago when they introduced RTX. Yeah. It's like, what the hell do I want to drive up the strip for? Yeah. Anyway, so we were doing a recap of day 1 events, and so we did the first half from the show floor, and then we did the second half of us talking about press events that happened that day. And I was, and Gigabit released the new Z390 motherboards, and they've got the RS Extreme with the built-in water block, and they've got a PCI Express 1 terabyte drive with RGB on it. That'll do 5,000 megabytes per second, and so I'm just like spitting out numbers left and right. And then I had one segment that I wanted Rhett to read,
and he's like,
and he was going, so Intel talked about the i7. The 9900K. And he goes, how do you do these numbers? Oh my god!
I know. I'm amazed actually at how well you memorize the numbers too. I think it's just because it's me. Because I kind of like when I'm reading stuff online. Yeah. If there's like a big long string of numbers or something, that's just the brand or the model.
You just kind of go. Yeah.
I just kind of gloss over it. I don't actually read it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if I'm gonna go buy it, then I'll kind of concentrate a little bit more on it. But if I'm just reading an article about it, I'm just like, okay, I don't commit it to memory. You commit it to memory.
I do. But it was so funny because the raw cut of that video was, I think, 27 minutes long of us just like talking to the camera about the day's events, and I think it was 15 minutes of me laughing at Rhett for not being able to get through one line.
Yeah. Like a teleprompter.
Sorry, Rhett.
Like
I do have a teleprompter.
Oh,
I have one. I didn't have one there. I didn't pack there. Yeah.
Because then you don't have to put, you can put the words to it, so it seems more natural when he's saying it instead of like the model number.
Yeah. teleprompter, I'm actually at about maybe 20% of my videos are 100% pure scripted anymore, and the other 80% are more, I have side notes on my monitor over here, and I just kind of talk to camera, and if I need a number, I'll come this way, and then I'll come back.
You mean they're not improv?
No, they're still improv. They're still improv.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a basis behind the improv. There's already what I want to talk about.
It's improv with notes.
Right.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Improv with notes.
Improv with cue cards.
Yeah, okay.
Right. It's whose line is it anyway? Where they just call out a genre.
Oh yeah,
And,
it is. They got to make something up on the thing.
South Park.
So the RTX 2080 Ti.
Damn it, Kyle.
Yeah.
God damn it, Kyle.
All right. So anyway, ThinkGeek shutting down.
Kind of sad, but I never really bought that much from them, really.
So I know just from the first couple of things that someone posted the IT crowd number. So here we go. Okay. 0118-999-88199-9119-7253.
Pretty dang close.
Did I hit it?
I think you messed up in 2 spots.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you had it right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
81199-9115.
You have to.
He missed a 5. 911-5723.
Yeah, you didn't do it in the sing-songy way. You have to do it.
9119725. Yeah, Skull, you missed the number. 0118-999-8119-9119-7253. That's the song. You missed a number. Yeah.
Turn it off and on again, yeah.
Yeah, it's 9119725.
Wow, Scott, he was pulling it from memory too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have.
So bravo, Skull, but you're off. You're off by a 9. That was fun.
That was pretty good. How many times do you have to watch that episode to memorize that?
Twice.
Twice. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good.
When I was, I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second.
Yeah.
I can't watch the same movies like more than twice.
Yeah, I have a problem with that too.
Because I memorize them line for line and delivery for delivery, and it's just stuck in my brain. And
yeah, I'm the op. I don't.
I ruin the movie for myself, and it bugs the hell out of me.
I don't memorize it line for line, but I'm just like, okay, I watched it. I'm done with it. I don't need to revisit it. I want to go see something new.
Right, but no, it's the emphasis that they're putting on the words themselves. It's the rhythm that they're talking in. It's every nuance of how they're speaking. Right. I have a very, very good memory for audio speaking and numbers and things like that. I don't want to say photographic because I know there are people with photographic and mine is not that, but it's very, very good.
There's like a few people I think that are out there that have this like absolutely photogenic memory. Like you can ask them a time and a day and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I was doing.
Right.
And they could do, it's like, oh yeah, I was at lunch and I was at da-da-da and I sat at this booth and I ordered this off the menu.
Right.
And the waitress dropped a spoon. Like they'll memorize every single detail.
Yeah, I don't get every single detail, but especially when it comes to movies or music, it's everything is up there.
Yeah.
And not just like you play a random song, I'll tell you what chorus of the song that they're on, even though the choruses are identical. Yeah, it's like oh no, the snare drum hits he does a little kick right there in this chorus. It's different. Even when I was a kid, I remember being 5 years old and sitting on the couch and reciting Aladdin over and over and over because I knew every single line in the movie. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's why I can do this crap.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could if I sat there and read it and concentrated and put it to memory.
Yep.
But I don't.
Anyway, Raspberry Pi 4.
That's right. The 4th.
Heck
Raspberry Pi the 4th.
I am super excited for this one. This is one of the largest leaps forward since they went from single core to quad core. As far as the integrated specs that are in it. Right. Gigabit Ethernet. Which is no longer being passed through the USB controller. This is a standalone Ethernet chip, which is directly connected to the I/O on the CPU. So we should be getting true gigabits, or very much closer
to it. Yes.
Instead of getting 175 to 250 megabit per second throughput, we'll actually get closer to 1 gig. I don't know if it's going to be 1 gig. We'll wait for testing on that. But much improved. USB 3.0 on 2 of the ports now as well.
Ports, yep.
And I'm really curious to see if it's full bandwidth USB 3.0 because I would love to run like a pfSense box on one of these. I bet it could do it. I really do.
And they got rid of the full HDMI. They did micro HDMI.
Micro HDMI times 2.
Yeah, they could do 2 monitors at once now.
Now, unfortunately, it's still HDMI 1.4, which means 4K resolution out of both, but 4K 30, or 1080 60 are the 2 options. So there's no 4K 60 option. However, there is integrated H.265 decoding on the hardware level, which is accessible to the OS now. So this will actually decode a 4K 60 MPEG stream off H.264. So if you're wanting to use this for a set-top box or a Plex player, heck yes, this got a lot better.
Yeah, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with that Gigabit and you want to stream HD content. A lot less hiccups.
Ripping Blu-rays to your Plex and then decoding them on your Raspberry Pi.
It's going to be totally seamless now. It's a lot faster.
Right, it's now possible. And you don't have to do the transcoding on your server. You can just stream the raw files to the Pi and it'll decode it for you. So that is freaking cool. 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte, and 4 gigabytes.
Yeah.
That's the other huge key to this, is we're no longer condensed to 1 gigabyte. The Raspberry Pi Foundation is touting this as a possible desktop replacement.
Yeah.
Where they said for most simple tasks, web browsing, watching YouTube, doing your taxes, playing online games, that kind of thing, this could replace a desktop or tablet or laptop computer.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I believe them.
Yeah, and I think with I think Valve put the kibosh on their Steam Link. But they released the software for it.
Yes.
You could probably make your own Steam Link or something like this.
I did a video on doing a Raspberry Pi 3, which was the minimum requirement as a Steam Link. I actually want to try this one and see if all of my network concerns have gone away.
Yeah.
Because there were both decode concerns where we were slightly more latency heavy than the native Steam Link. There were also just straight up network concerns. The latency getting through the USB controller, all the translation involved from Ethernet to processor and into your monitor, it was just slightly behind and a little bit more. Every once in a while there was a stutter.
Yeah.
And it was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And this may be great.
And it's still only $35.
And still only $35. 45 for the 2 gig and 55 for the 4 gig, which is still totally reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to buy some of these, and in fact, I have a project coming up where I'm looking at doing a remote office. I may end up doing a server stack for your home network. So I've got a
Raspberry Pi stack.
So I have a 3B stack right here, and I've been considering doing a tutorial on how to do like a home network setup, like I've done with virtualization, but on a Raspberry Pi scale. So for like $150, you can build one of these and do pfSense, Pi-hole, Unify server, and maybe a couple other important services to you. And then also have one where you could RDP into the rest or terminal into the rest using like a guacamole server or something like that. So that might be a tutorial that I'm considering, or a quick video series.
That would be really interesting to do.
So yeah, and honestly, it's like, yeah, I've got a server rack. Yeah.
A Pi rack.
Yep. But take a couple of USB 3 SSDs, plug them in, and do a little 1 tera, or do a little mini NAS with them.
Yeah. You can
get a little
together.
Get a little shared storage on there.
Well, yeah, because I have a whole stack of 1 terabyte drives at home.
Yeah.
Just stick them all together and link them together.
Right. Well, I'd do something crazy. I'd get a sponsorship for like some 1.92 terabyte SSDs or 3.84s.
Raid them all together
and raid like 4 of them together and stack. Yeah. I'd do something crazy.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. But so I'm probably going to buy at least 1, possibly like 4 of them, and maybe look at doing a quick tutorial series on them. If people are interested, I'm definitely going to buy one and try to do pfSense, because that's been an oft-requested one. And I think running pfSense on a Raspberry Pi would be phenomenal, especially if we can get full 1 gig service through one.
Centralized. There you go.
Yeah. So let me know, not in the chat, but down in the comments, once this video goes live, because you'll be able to comment then, what are you excited for the Raspberry Pi 4 for? Because
when is it? Did we have a release date on this?
July 19th. So 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks.
So not that far away.
Right.
Around the corner.
Is there a project that you've been waiting for more power on that the Raspberry Pi 4 can deliver? Is there something you have in mind for the Raspberry Pi 4? I want to know because I might make a tutorial on it.
I mean, it sounds really complicated, and I've seen the tutorials for it before, is making the home bar, the home mixer.
Yes.
With the Raspberry Pi.
I've thought about doing that. In fact, I might have to do one of those videos.
That seems very involved, though. I mean...
It's just a couple of systolic pumps. It's a couple of it's one Raspberry Pi. It's one of the 7-inch touchscreens.
I think to just get the pumps and the hoses and to kind of jerry rig it together probably wouldn't be that bad. But the ones I've seen where they actually have the whole enclosed thing,
right,
and they make it look kind of slick and seamless and stuff like that. That one might be a little bit more difficult.
It might be, but it might be worth it.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah. So. You can open up a bakery with all those pies, Craft Computing?
Yeah.
So, we have some information on the Ryzen 5 3600. And it looks like it may be beating the 8700K straight up.
Yep.
6 cores versus 6 cores. And not just 6 cores, $200 6-core 12-thread, straight up destroying an 8700K.
Yep.
Now, a lot of these leaks have been happening. There are chips in people's hands, and I don't know how they got them. I have heard recently that my contact to possibly be able to get some chips, they said they had literally 3 chips on hand, and they were all engineering samples. And we're a week and a half away from release.
So yeah, it kind of makes sense that we're getting some leaks now,
right?
Because we're getting close, getting close to the wire.
Anyway, a 197 single-threaded Cinebench.
That's amazing.
The best Ryzen score I've ever scored on Cinebench R15 was a 176, I want to say. Maybe a 178. It was right in that range. So literally a 20-plus point jump in the single-threaded score, putting it almost at 200 with Ryzen 5's entry-level chip at 199.
Yep.
That's insane, because the stock 9900K gets about a 205? 215.
Oh, is it the Cinebench score?
Yeah, 9900K gets about a 215 if I remember correctly.
But that's like what, a $600 chip?
450 sometimes or 490 sometimes on Amazon if you can find it.
Okay.
But yeah, typically a $500 to $550 chip.
Okay.
What do I have in R15? Hold on. I'm just going to bring it up real quick. Oh, come on. Where's my advance?
That's too far away for me to see.
I know.
Yeah.
206 was my, here, we'll do that.
There we go.
So this is my screen right now. This is my Cinebench numbers. So I got a 216 on an overclocked 8700K, and that was at a 4.9. So I got a pretty good overclock on my 8700K. Stock speeds on the 9900K were 206.
So pretty decent performance boost there.
Right. And you can see stock speeds at 2666. I got a 199. So 197 versus 199. We don't know what the memory settings were on this yet.
No.
We don't know a lot of information, but AMD is nipping at the heels and or surpassing clock for clock. In fact, they're doing better for clock because this is a 3.9 gigahertz boost.
Yeah.
On the 3600. Or 4.2. 3.9 base and a 4.2 boost.
That's
something
amazing.
like that.
That's really good. That's
way
really good
way lower than the 4.7 boost on the 8700 and 9700Ks. So pretty insane numbers. Hopefully we'll know a lot more in about 10 days.
Yeah. It's good because I'm starting to formulate my upgrades.
Yeah.
And now that these chips
well, yeah,
are
you got to meet the RTX 2070 you bought.
I know. It's like everything else is bottleneck for me.
Yep.
It's like I gotta get new monitors. I gotta get new processors.
Yep. I am planning a couple upgrades. First and foremost, my Threadripper. While it's kind of holding up with 4K content, it's really not doing well for live editing 4K content, especially if I have multiple streams on the screen at once. It's just bogging down like crazy. So I am looking at some possible upgrades for my Threadripper. whether I go to like a 2950X, because my render speeds are also atrocious for 4K. The 15-minute video I rendered this last week, the one I posted on Tuesday, the Castle 240EX, which I kept calling a Captain 240EX in the second half of the video, and I didn't even realize. Well, Deepcool also has a Captain radiator.
Oh, okay.
They have the Captain and the Castle series.
Mixed up, yeah.
And I had the box in front of me, and I had the notes and everything else, and I kept calling it a Captain. And
Captain, my Captain.
So I emailed Deepcool after the review was done and let them know the video was posted and they could share it if they wanted to.
They got a not Captain.
And they said, we loved the video, we loved everything you said about it, but you kept calling it a Captain in the second half. And I went, oh God, I did. Oh God.
Well, you can always put you can go back on YouTube and put the little correction messages at the bottom.
Yeah.
So, oops, star.
Yep.
I didn't mean to say Captain.
Yeah. Rome's Threadripper would be awesome. Yeah. I do plan on eventually getting Threadripper 3 as soon as it launches, and I'm hearing November for a launch time, and that does sync up with what I'm hearing for TSMC's contracts that they've taken out lately, as far as AMD production, followed by Apple production, followed by more AMD production, maybe around October for a November launch. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at probably a 7nm Threadripper around the November timeline.
That'd be fun to see.
Right.
Right in time for the Christmas stocking stuffer.
Honestly, I'd take 16 cores at like 4.6.
I'm
I'm not picky.
Yeah.
Little quad channel memory in the side, yeah. What are we talking cars down here now? But it's like a car. You could have the V8, but it's available in a V10. Actually, I would take a V8 Audi R8 over the V10 model.
Yeah.
I would. It makes a better sound. So man, I can't wait till benchmarks are out.
It's just right around the corner.
Yeah,
around the corner.
Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like I'm gonna have Zen 2 benchmarks at launch, but I will be. I am planning at least 2 Zen 2 builds right off the bat. One of which in a pretty cool case. That's all I can say. One of which in a pretty cool case. Pretty cool case.
Cooler than the one with the screen on the side. That's a pretty dang cool case.
Yeah, it is a pretty dang cool case. It doesn't have a screen in the side, but it's cool. It's a cool case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have a beer tap on the side? Cool.
That'd be a good. How would you keep it cold?
Like, you just, I don't know.
If I put
it in the fridge.
If I put a computer on top,
you want to keep it cool anyway, right?
If I put a computer on top of a kegerator, it's just a computer on top of a kegerator.
Well, I mean, technically, if you could probably put a motherboard in a refrigerator.
Linus has tried it and it didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work?
Nope.
Well, I think because there's a lot of condensation that kind of goes down.
No, it's not the condensation. It's that it's only designed to output so many watts. And so a fridge is only going to dissipate 250 watts of heat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to work that fast. It just has to keep it cold once it's there. And so if you're putting 300 watts of heat into a 250 watt box, it's not going to keep up.
Did he use a mini fridge, though? Is that what
he used a mini fridge. Yeah.
Yeah, because those aren't really designed for that much cooling. Because that's what I have downstairs.
Yeah.
But if you had a full-size fridge with a full-size freezer on the side, you could put some extra fans, or you could put a bigger hole between the freezer and there with some bigger fans, and that would pump a lot more cool air into it. Right. But that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's a full-size fridge for a...
Yeah, that's a little outside of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Not exactly deskable. If I wanted
I would put it on the desk.
If I wanted to do that, Steve, I have a chiller downstairs.
Yeah,
I have a 1,000-watt chiller in my garage.
I know, but there's still going to be enough space to also make it a kegerator.
Right.
So then you could have
It's true.
You can have your USB. You could plug in your USB stuff right there, and then while you're doing that, you pour yourself a tap.
Yep.
Just an idea.
It's an idea.
Yep.
I'll consider it.
Yep. Is it a case that has holsters for all the Raspberry Pis you're going to get?
Yeah, there we go. I could probably fridge cool the Raspberry Pis.
There you go. That would probably work because they don't get that hot.
Not nearly as hot.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be fun.
You want to go to the next beer?
Yeah.
Do we want to go to the sour or do we want to go to the rye?
Let's go sour.
Okay.
So Tucana Tangerine Sour from Ecliptic Brewing, 4.8%.
Yeah, this is a light one.
Ale brewed with tangerines.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely going to have a citrus note.
Oh, I can smell it already.
Yep.
It's a good looking head on that beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little bummed. I was in Tillamook last weekend, and I wanted to go to Guard. Because DeGard makes some excellent sours.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't swing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just didn't get to make it.
We'll have to make a trip there.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Keg Pewter. Yeah. It's on my list. Don't worry.
Keg Pewter.
Yep.
It's sour, but it's not overly sour.
It's got a weird bittering finish.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't find it really that bitter.
Like it's sour. Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on. There. It's super bitter to me on the backside.
Really?
Super bitter.
I'm not getting that super bitter.
Super bitter.
Really?
Yeah. It's sour. It turned, and it's way after you finish.
Like not. Are you talking like hop bitter, or are you talking like a orange pith bitter?
I'm talking like I'm chewing on a maple leaf bitter.
I can't say I've chewed on a maple leaf before.
You've chewed on leaves.
I've had some leaves that are just like,
right.
Yeah.
It tastes like that sour note just turns bitter.
Yeah.
And it turns like that tangy bitter.
I've chewed on a whole hop bud before. And
right.
That's super bitter.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of this one. It's not doing it for me.
It kind of smells like popcorn.
Strangely enough, yes.
Yeah.
It's like Jelly Belly popcorn.
Yeah.
It's the jelly bean popcorn.
That's weird.
Yeah. Like their artificial butter flavor.
Yeah. That's exactly what it kind of smells like. Yeah, and that's not, like I said,
That's funny because that's all I can smell now.
I'm glad I put that in your head.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, ooh. Love sour. Anyone try the Sierra Nevada Goes with the cactus and pear?
I actually have had that one.
You've had
I've had that
one
one before. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like, it was, I believe it was a kettle sour. Mm-hmm. So it had that, and kettle sours are soured with a different type of bacteria.
Yeah.
And it's the same bacteria they use for making yogurt. Mm-hmm. So it has like a kind of a yogurty sour flavor. It ends up being, all those kettle sours just taste like yogurt beer to me. So I don't really tend to like them that much.
Right.
But a Gose isn't technically sour. A Gose is just supposed to have salt in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says it was kettle, great finish.
Yeah.
Is what he remembers.
Yeah, I mean, some people like that. But the barrel-aged sours, the ones that actually take a whole year to make, those are phenomenal sours. Those are, like, really good.
So your wife says, what do you know about gesture control? Lame? Intel RealSense technology. I want to be excited, but what games can you play?
My wife put that on there?
It says Angie.
I think it's my son that's typing that. I don't think it was her. He's only 2.5, but he's an advanced 2.5.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he typed that.
No. Gesture control. We've seen Minority Report style, gesture controls before. They tend to be pretty inaccurate as it is.
The ones that I've seen were.
Right.
Yeah.
Think of, I don't know if you've ever played the Microsoft Kinect for the Xbox 360.
Some
of those experiences.
Yeah.
Anything using cameras and AI behind it tends to have a lot of latency involved, and it doesn't equate to a good gaming experience. I'm excited that they're doing it, and RealSense has been a thing for a number of years. But RealSense, they're aiming less towards gaming and more towards enterprise and industrial interface. They're using eye tracking, so they know where you're looking on the screen to maybe hasten reaction times on screen. They're doing 3D Sense Real cameras, or RealSense 3D cameras, sorry, for 3D scanning rooms and making accurate models.
They're doing that with in conjunction with the AR stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really cool technology, but as far as a gaming sense, I've never been excited for it. There's even been a couple of attempts to do 3D scanning of a body in VR space. So you wear a VR headset and then it 3D scans your body while you're moving, and it's always been behind and it's always had to deal with occlusion. So if my hand goes in front of my other hand, all of a sudden you can't see what my left hand is doing anymore.
Right.
It's the same concept.
Same concept, so it doesn't know.
Right.
It doesn't know what's behind your other hand.
Right. So if I do something like this, you don't know if I'm doing that or not. You know, so
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing. So the mechanics of the gaming world break down because we're only dealing with one point of view.
Yeah.
If they had multiple cameras, or they had inside-out tracking technology, or cameras on the headset as well as cameras mounted on four corners and straight up and straight down, there might be something to that.
there, yeah.
But then you have to think of all the processing of all that in order to make a fluid gaming experience, and it's just not been there.
Yeah. I mean, a couple years maybe when the processing power gets a lot faster, a lot better. Maybe. And that's, or maybe with some kind of, instead of like complete IntelliSense with cameras and stuff like that, maybe some kind of wearable glove like they kind of have in Minority Report or something like that. So you actually have sensors knowing what your individual fingers are doing.
Yep.
A bunch of microsensors. Maybe. Who knows? But
Central Nintendo asks, do you think that Linux in a few years will be mainstream and replace or be competitive with Windows? Right now, the only thing preventing me from switching is that I can't play Siege on Linux yet. Don't skip ahead of me in the notes. Wait about 3 minutes.
We're going to talk about that.
Yep. Introducing Microsoft Edge preview for Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 8.1.
All the operating systems your parents are still using.
You can get the Chromium-based Edge on OSs you shouldn't be running anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you realize 8 was already end-of-lifed, and 7 and 8.1 are end-of-lifed in January this coming year.
Yeah.
They're only receiving security updates now. But, yeah, you shouldn't be running those anymore.
Yep.
You should be on 10. I don't care if you hate 10, but you should hate security vulnerabilities more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always also... Well, I mean, yeah, there's ways to kind of mitigate some of that, but for the most part, yeah, you shouldn't be on Windows 7.
Oh, really, Intel? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's like Intel has a very good track record of that. I mean, I guess if it was an isolated box, like if you had a old 32-bit Windows 7 that can only run certain games,
then it doesn't matter.
Then it doesn't matter,
Right.
But as your daily driver, no, I would not.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that.
Steve says you should be on Arch. Get off your high horse. Yeah, you heard me. All the way up there. You heard me. So yeah, you can download the Edge preview, which is Chromium based. We talked about this a couple times for Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 8.1 now. So unlike what Microsoft said, you will never be able to run Edge on a lower operating system than 10. Well, now you can. Have you tried the new Chromium Edge at all?
I have not.
It's interesting.
Have you tried it, huh?
I will say it has Windows Live integrations. It's got Office 365 integrations. For what you do, because you're an Office 365 guy, it might make a little bit of sense. It has a lot of the same integrations that Chrome has with like Google Drive and Google Suite.
Right, yeah.
So
a lot of those integrations work seamlessly with Chrome already.
Right.
I mean, this is going to be a Chrome-based browser.
Right.
So with already plugins, it's pretty seamless already.
Right.
Because we use SharePoint quite a bit, and SharePoint links right into. You can have it linked into your Windows Explorer, or you can have it linked into your browser. So all of our shared resources is just like one click away, and it loads up in the browser. It's not that too much different right now.
Yep. So yeah, if you wanted to give the new Chromium Edge a spin, you can do it on not only Windows 10 but 8.1, 8, and 7 as well. So
yeah, that's what was holding you back before.
Go grab
Which
yours
is probably
today.
Not. Yeah, everyone's excited. Hooray!
Yeah, if you haven't upgraded to Windows 10 yet, it's probably because you didn't want to. So the last thing you probably want is Edge.
Yeah.
All right, now into the Linux question. So I want to go chronologically with this story.
It was a bit of a roller coaster
because it developed.
It went fast.
Yes, it did. So if you weren't following the news for about the last 4 or 5 days, Canonical, which is the parent company of Ubuntu, They dropped kind of a bombshell late Friday.
Yeah.
Where they said Ubuntu will no longer be supposed... Did you click on the wrong article? Or did they update the article? Scroll down. Scroll down. That's the title.
That's the one we want.
Okay. So they updated with a new title.
Okay.
Good on you. What is that? Floss?
It's Floss.
It's Floss, yeah. Good on you for updating your article and updating the headline so it's no longer clickbait.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I like you for that. Anyway, so Canonical announced on Friday that they are going to be dropping i386 architecture. Mm-hmm. Now, they've already stopped distributing 32-bit OS support as of, was it 1704? I think was the last one that got it.
I don't remember.
It was a couple years ago. It was 2-3 years ago. So Ubuntu gets a new LTS, long-term support OS, about every 2 years. So they have 6-month rotations, and it usually goes 0410, and then the next number 0410, and then the next number is going to be the next LTS. So 04 is the LTS. So they went 1704, 1804, 1904. Or sorry, 1604, 1804, and then 2004 will be the next LTS.
Yeah.
Well, Ubuntu announced that as of version 1910, which we're on 1904 right now, they will no longer be not only not supporting 32-bit OSs, so there's not a 32-bit download for Ubuntu.
Right.
Neither was there for 18, and I don't believe there was for 17 either. But they are no longer going to be supporting 32-bit packages within Ubuntu. Yep. Now, that sounds all fine and dandy from we should all be 64-bit anyway.
I know. It's very good for forward thinking.
It's a 64-bit OS. We should all be thinking 64-bit address space.
Yep.
Au contraire, my friend, because
all the backwards compatible stuff. Anything you want to use that's older, especially with the big one which we're going to talk about, Steam support. Steam still relies on 32-bit packages. They rely on Mesa and NVIDIA driver packages, which are still 32-bit based. Yep. They rely on... They went on to name a bunch of them in the press release, which we'll get to. Yep. There's a bunch of previous gen apps. The biggest of which is not necessarily Steam, but it's probably Wine. Because Wine has been making a lot of headway because of Steam lately, because of its backwards compatibility its compatibility layer with Windows games. Wine is not an emulator. I was just going to say that. Wine's not an emulator, guys.
Shut up. By definition, it is. Wine was a tongue-in-cheek name for Wine is not an emulator in 1994 because they didn't want to be associated with console emulators. Mm-hmm. They didn't want the banhammer to come down on them from the open source community for emulating Windows. Yeah. So they said Wine is not an emulator.
But
I know it's a recursive acronym. I freaking know the acronym. I was around in 1994 when the emulators were out, and I was downloading them like everyone else. And I know that Wine was released then, and I know the inside joke that the name was then, so don't try to correct me otherwise.
Hey, Jeff, Wine's not an emulator.
Yeah. I'm going to break this glass over your head. Anyway. This was announced on late Friday, like 6 p.m.
Right when everybody's like driving home,
not
paying attention.
And it sent kind of some shockwaves through the Linux community, not only the Linux community as a whole, but the Linux gaming community. Because think of my SteamOS videos that I've done and the progression that they've done in just 18 months.
That's going to get thrown away.
It would all be out the window.
Out the window,
Yeah, it would be all for naught because it's like you were making so much headway. I was about ready to recommend you as, if you want a game, go ahead and switch.
We do have a few of our Patreons that's their main OS, and that's what they game
absolutely. On. Ubuntu, Pop, Manjaro, they're all represented in there. We've got one idiot who runs Arch. I'm kidding. It's not that foreign anymore. And honestly, in my last SteamOS video that I did, I have been thinking about running a full-time Linux gaming machine around my house, just so I can stay fluent in it. I mean, I'm fluent on the server side of it, but staying fluent in the desktop side of things. No 32-bit libs is why Wine on FreeBSD is in such poor shape. Well, that and FreeBSD. Yeah. Sorry. I love FreeBSD. I love you, FreePBX. or FreeNAS. That's who I was thinking.
FreeNAS.
Yeah, FreePBX is the other one that we use. That's also BSD based. Anyway, so late Friday they announced we're done with 32-bit. We're canceling it. And then there was a huge outcry from gamers. Steam actually came out.
Yep.
So next article.
Bong.
And said, made an official statement that, quote, where was it at? I'm sorry that we're given any impression. Oh, sorry. No, they've updated their article too. Dang it. I had all these articles posted and they had the relevant information that I wanted, but they've all updated them. So basically Valve came out and said, if Ubuntu is dropping 32-bit support in 1910,
we're dropping Ubuntu.
We can't support Ubuntu anymore. Yeah. We can't. Now, we had plans in place to support 64-bit only installations through containerization, but if they're cutting us out already, we can't make the deadline of the 1910 release.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to drop Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is the most used desktop Linux OS. By far. It's not even close. Now, there are some distros that are becoming more popular. Pop OS in particular comes out to mind, as well as Manjaro, although I think it's always had the same popularity for the last 5 or 6 years. It's not growing, it's not declining. But Pop OS certainly has been making a name for itself in the compatibility and fluid desktop environment space. Yeah, so Steam came out and said, I'm sorry, we're not going to support Ubuntu anymore. And that's going to mean a retraction in Linux gaming.
Yep.
We can't support it.
Yep.
So Canonical, one of the developers, came out and made a statement and said that is simply not the case, quote, end quote, that Ubuntu will drop support for 32-bit applications in Ubuntu 1910 and subsequent editions, leading up to the 2004 LTS version and then the next 4 revisions after that. So 2010, 2104, and 2110. This wasn't necessarily no, that's not what we said. This was a little bit of no, we're going to change the message. We're not dropping support for 386. What we're doing is we're going to freeze the 386 library, not install it by default.
Right.
So we're going to freeze it in time as of LTS 1804, and we're going to allow you to download those packages, but we're no longer going to maintain those packages.
Yeah, they're just going to be sitting there. You can grab them when you want them.
You can grab them when you want them and if you need them.
Yes.
And whatnot, and they'll be available. They can run. It's backwards compatible with our kernel, but they're not going to be installed by default. And that still was not great because it still means we need to install packages that are not going to be updated anymore.
Yeah.
And it's going to be frozen in time at 1804, which means no development for drivers, no development for kernels, especially when it comes to Mesa and NVIDIA driver support. Think of your AMD and NVIDIA graphics drivers that have made so much headway in the last couple years for the consumer side of things. Out the window.
Kind of like when I download Winamp.
Right.
It's no development's been there for a year, but it's like, God dang it, it's one of the best music players. I still download and use it.
Kicks the llama's ass.
It does. It has that really great karaoke plugin support, too.
Yes, it does. I still use it for karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
But that wasn't the end of the story.
Nope, not at all. There's more to this roller coaster.
So, late Monday, Canonical came out and they made an official statement. More than just a developer doing a quick little interview. This was an official statement posted to Ubuntu's blog on the current state of 32-bit i386 packages for Ubuntu builds. They said, and I quote, where is it at? Where's the line that I wanted to say? There was a specific thing I wanted to say.
It's in this article?
Yeah, it's in this article. We will, there it is, it's at the top.
Oh, right there.
We will change our plan and build selected 32-bit i386 packages for Ubuntu 1910 and 2004 LTS. We will put in place a community process to determine which 32-bit packages are needed to support legacy software and can add to that list post-release if we miss something that is needed. End quote. So this was a complete about face, and they actually credited the wine community. Thanks to a huge amount of feedback this weekend from gamers, Ubuntu Studio, and the wine community, we will change our plan and build selected 32-bit packages for Ubuntu. That is pretty huge because Ubuntu wants to be known as kind of the de facto Linux desktop environment, but they really have their own goal of just being a usable desktop environment, not necessarily for the gaming scene. Yeah. The fact that they took the time and took the feedback from gamers and said, wow, we're missing the boat here.
Yeah.
And did a complete 180 over the course of a weekend. That's pretty insane.
Yeah. That is pretty good. I mean, that's good on them, though.
Yes.
I mean, they gauge the temperature of the water, and they're like,
yeah,
okay, let's go. Yeah, that's hot stuff.
Spicy.
Spicy. Yeah.
A little sriracha in the hot tub.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So number one, credit to Canonical for doing an about face and for doing it fairly gracefully. They said, you know what? We understand that was not popular. We're willing to work with you guys. We need to move forward. We need to take some of these 32-bit libraries out so we can keep moving forward because 32-bit development is difficult anymore with the large address spaces that are needed for modern applications. That's one of the things that they said in this press release. But they also said, we understand the need for legacy support within the OS, and so we are willing to work with devs and a community team to figure out which packages specifically are needed to support legacy software and to support legacy binaries. And that's huge. That's really huge that they would do that for the gaming community, because make no bones about it, this was for the gaming community.
Oh yeah, and I think to the gaming community's credit, the reason why there is a big uptick, I think, in usage of Ubuntu is because of that support.
That's exactly right.
So them dropping it was like just a big kick in the teeth for those guys. And it's good on them to just do a real quick 180.
Yep.
And be like, okay, you're right, guys.
Yeah.
We screwed up.
You know what? My bad.
Yeah, that was okay.
My bad. It's bad.
We were hungover that day. We didn't think straight. Please still use our OS.
I can just imagine him throwing a beer bottle at the wall going, 32-bit!
So sick of it.
So anyway, earlier today, like literally 5 hours ago, Valve made an official statement on the Steam blog. And they countered with their own statement. Quote, there's been a lot of news and discussion over the weekend on the topic of Steam on Linux and officially supported and recommended distributions. In response to the raised concerns by ourselves and the wider community, the Ubuntu project recently discussed a more conservative approach. So saying that the Ubuntu support team, Ubuntu developers, Ubuntu community talked about reinstating i386 drivers into the 1910 build. Wherein a selection of 32-bit libraries would still be available on the host system through at least the 2004 LTS, which means it will get at least another 3 years of support.
Yeah.
And in that 3-year time, Valve has a plan.
Well, they've had a plan already. They've just been kind of...
They had a plan. They just can't bring it together in 4 months.
Yeah. Because they've also... I think this is in aligned with their whole UI revamp of Steam altogether.
Yes. I fully agree with that.
I think that these two things are going to coincide. And this could be kind of why they're probably doing these development parallel. So which is probably why it's taken so long. Because they announced that UI update about a year ago.
Yeah.
And...
8 months, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And they've done updates to the friends list.
Yep.
But they don't, like, the main application is still kind of still the same thing.
Yeah. Anyway, it says, we're still not particularly excited about the removal of any existing functionality, but such a change to the plan is extremely welcome and will allow us to continue to work towards improvements in the Steam distribution model without causing new headaches for users. Given the information we have so far on the new approach, it seems likely that we will be able to continue to officially support Steam on Ubuntu. They then went on to say there are several distributions on the market today that offer a great gaming experience, such as Arch Linux, Manjaro, Pop! OS, Fedora, and many others. We'll be working closer with many distribution maintainers in the future. If you're working on such a distribution and you don't feel your project has a direct line of contact with us, by all means have a representative reach out directly. They want to work with distros. They want to work with major distros, with major developers, and make sure that Steam will be supported on pretty much any major distro of Linux. Yeah. That's really good news for Linux gamers. Now, not to toot my own horn again, but I did say in my SteamOS video last year, where I did kind of a retrospective of SteamOS and kind of an RIP for SteamOS as like a great idea, but it didn't go anywhere. They had a great idea, and make no bones about it, this was a shot across the bow of Microsoft of saying, you know what? If you're not going to allow us to have a storefront inside of the Windows Store to be able to distribute our game model and our business model on Windows anymore, we'll make our own OS with blackjack and hookers. That's basically what SteamOS was. You know what? We don't need you.
Yeah, it was. They're hedging their bets with that, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it worked, and Microsoft retracted their Windows Store only approach to the walled garden Windows applications, and backed down and allowed Steam to exist as a third party. And it's a direct result of SteamOS.
But it also opened the gate for Epic. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
So, yeah, that's another discussion entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are a Linux gamer, it was doom and gloom over the weekend because 32-bit support was going away, and Valve did not have enough time to counter with another development. Now, Valve has been working on a method to containerize their applications and their individual game installs with any 32-bit libraries that are necessary to run those packages.
Yeah.
And that is something that they said will happen. So eventually they can pull that trigger and we'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Because we will have legacy 32-bit support containerized within our environment.
Yeah.
But they said on the timeline that Ubuntu gave us, basically a 3-month leadway to, hey, we're releasing 1910 without the support.
No way they could have done that in time.
There was zero there. There was no chance they were going to be able to make that deadline. And there was over the weekend, there was an Ubuntu developer who removed all of the i386 packages from 1910, from a 1910 daily build distro, and tried to play some good old game library games on there. And none of them played. Yeah. One of them opened with a black screen, so the binary launched,
good old game
but it couldn't read any of its libraries.
I mean, some of those are still like 16-bit. You have to have
you have to have
virtualization going on in there.
Yeah, DOSBox and a couple other things. So he tried like a dozen games, and one of them was able to launch, but it only launched with a black screen with no audio. So that is the state. We went from 90% playable to 0% playable with Ubuntu's Thanos Snap.
Yeah. Except Thanos Snap was half.
Yeah.
This is like almost everything.
Yeah, this was 95%. Yeah. Anything that wasn't Linux native wasn't playing. And even the Linux native games were in danger. So, huge shakeup and huge scare for the Linux community.
Wait, did Tux Racer go away?
Actually, it probably would have.
No! Yeah. Not Tux Racer! No.
Get out of here with your Penguin Mario Kart. So, yeah, huge shakeup, huge potential for something that was going to go awry, and it seems to be at least culled for now, or slowed down for now, where 32-bit support is going away in Linux, make no bones about it.
But it's going to be further out.
And Microsoft could learn something from this. Microsoft, I've said for a number of years, they needed at one point to cut backwards compatibility out and say, from this point forward, we're moving forward. Because there's still 16-bit kernel information inside the modern Windows 10 1903 kernel.
In the 64-bit version?
Yeah.
For what? You can't run 16-bit in 32.
You can't, but some of the coding there still exists. There. Some of the hooks into the base OS.
Yeah, I guess that there is. But there's probably still a lot of hooks.
As of Windows 7, Program Manager was still installed by default.
Progman, yeah.
You could launch Progman and have the old interface and old file manager.
Oh, yeah.
Inside of Windows 7.
They still have Progman, but they don't have Pinball.
Right.
I'd take Pinball over Progman.
Yes, I would. I would too. But all your old Windows 3.1 apps still ran inside of Windows 7, and they were still installed by default because there were hooks inside the OS that relied on those dependencies. So, like I said, 20 years of backwards compatibility, it might be time to start letting it go.
I know, I do get it, because as you start building up a code base, your hooks do rely on old stuff. And cleaning that stuff out is not easy.
And I never said it was.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a great culling of some Microsoft code eventually to get them out of some funks that they're in.
Yeah. Well, I think that with the release of Windows 10, that was kind of the announcement that was the plan all along, is to start, going down this path of...
Didn't work out that way.
No, it did not. And it never does.
Yep. So, yeah. If you're a Linux gamer, celebrate that your day of death has been extended by at least 3 years.
It was probably an emotional roller coaster for you over the weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
Although
the Linux hardcore, I'm sure, don't use Ubuntu anyway.
They might have been drunk all weekend and didn't even realize it. Who knows?
Woke up Wednesday morning going, what the hell happened?
It's Wednesday already?
Yeah.
I went to bed Sunday afternoon.
All kind of hazy between then and now. All right. Moving on. So, AMD dodged a bullet.
Yeah, they sure did.
AMD dodged a bullet. So we all know of Spectre and Meltdown and Zombie Load and what are the others? I've lost count.
There's like 6 of them now or something.
6 or 7 major Intel vulnerabilities that cannot be patched. AMD nearly had one. So this was disclosed all the way back in February, but it was disclosed very, very quietly. It really didn't hit the mainstream press. That Epyc's cryptography for KVM Linux, that is one Linux virtualization environment, had been breached. So the reason that Threadripper, Zen, and Epyc as a whole have not been prone to these speculative execution hacks is because they actually encrypt active memory inside virtualized containers, whereas Intel does not. It's a shared memory pool, and you grab whatever chunks of it that you need. Well, the thing is that if you have some chunks, another guest OS can see those chunks and can read those chunks unencrypted.
Yeah.
And there's no patch for that. There's no encryption for that. AMD actually has encryption built into its processors at the hardware level that does encrypt memory between virtualized OSs. And each virtualized OS has its own cryptography key that it only it knows
with its own self.
Right. And so when it writes its memory values, encrypted. And so only it can decrypt it. Well, that decryption key was broken in February.
Yep.
And that was no bueno. That was like a meltdown level thing. But AMD said, we know what's wrong and we can fix it. Well, as of June 4th, they done fixed it. They sent out a firmware update which fixes the cryptography issue inside of Epyc processors. Now, this only did affect Epyc. It didn't affect Threadripper or Zen. Those were not affected by this. But Epyc CPUs, they sent out a firmware update on June 4th that patched this issue with no performance degradation whatsoever.
That's good. And there was, I mean, the flaw was found, but I think it was found by Google.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that, there was a hacking group that found it and they were exploiting it. There's been no signs of it being exploited.
Correct.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
So the vulnerability was found, patched, no exploits on it. So it's they did dodge a bullet.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And again, we've talked about white hat versus black hat hacking. This was white hat hacking done right.
Yeah.
This was giving AMD time to patch the vulnerability before you make it public. And we've seen this before. We've also seen bad white hat hacking before where they just publish the results and it's a 0-day exploit at that point.
Yeah.
Although the 0-day exploit that was published for AMD said, if you have physical access and administrative credentials to the box, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, we kind of know that. That's the point of administrative credentials. So, anyway, Epyc was using what's called an ecliptic cryptography curve, which dates back to 1985, and they were touting it as pretty much unbreakable, that it would require quantum computing to break. Well, someone figured out the key. Someone figured out the key and broke it. Well, Zen basically redid their algorithm at the firmware level and repatched it. Now, we don't know if this will come back eventually. We don't know that if you've hacked it once, if there's enough hardware there to be able to re-encrypt it. But we do know that the re-encryption was successful, that the new key management system that AMD has for their hardware encryption is not vulnerable to this attack.
To this new attack,
at least at this point. Yeah. So very curious to kind of see if this comes back from the dead at some point, or if AMD really did dodge a bullet here.
Mm-hmm. And again, only with the Epyc chip.
Yep.
So probably isn't going to apply to most commercial users.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That is tech news done. Now we got some fun stuff.
Yeah. I know you didn't like the beer that much, but I'm already out. So you're going to have to chug.
I'm working on it. I'll get through it.
All right.
It's not bad. It's better now that it's warmed up just a little bit. It's not quite as offensive, and the bittering is kind of gone on the back end. I'm still not a huge fan of this one.
I never got the bittering poison, but it's like I said, it's not like the best sour I've ever had, but it's not bad.
If you've ever like ignore the mint factor of it, but if you've ever like chewed on a mint leaf, it's that kind of that's what I was tasting, and it was like 3 seconds after I swallowed. So it was like, okay, that's a good sour. That's a good that's what it was.
Okay.
And I just didn't enjoy it. So now side story. There was a 7-Eleven did a Slurpee campaign with WWF back in the day, not WWE.
And not the
World Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah, not the animal one.
World Wrestling Foundation.
One, yeah.
They did a cross promotion with them where they had like these super sour Slurpees that they would sell.
Yeah.
I remember one day I went in and bought one of those, and I tasted it. I'm like, oh god, that is the worst thing I've ever.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Oh yeah. Huh.
Sour like my daddy's lips.
But I remember it being like this hugely offensive flavor right up front, and then you kind of went, oh, okay, that's a little better, and then you take another drink because it finished good, but the intro was terrible, and I just that flavor stuck in my brain.
I know what you mean, because that around that time was also the same time they had. Like back in the 90s, those super, super sour candies. Like, Like they used to have the atomic warheads were like the really hot ones, but they also made the super sour ones too. Which like you could put them in your mouth and just like, what?
Yeah. Well, there were the atomic warheads and the atomic fireballs. Yeah. And so those, I can't have atomic fireballs.
Yeah.
I don't do alert or artificial cinnamon things.
Yeah.
They don't.
Like the cinnamon whiskey and stuff like that.
No,
I'm not a big fan of those. I mean, they're okay once in a while.
I may be partially allergic. I don't know. I can't confirm that. But the artificial cinnamon perfumes, those pine cones that you see at Christmas my eyes will literally like well up shut when I'm walking through malls during Christmas time. It's the most awful thing ever. Yeah. So yeah, artificial cinnamon candies and gum, like the cinnamon gum.
Big Red or something.
Big Red, the most horrible thing ever. And even if someone is like chewing it in the room, my eyes will start watering and like swell. So I can't confirm that I'm allergic, but I have some serious suspicions.
That sounds like, you might be allergic there.
Yeah.
All these things you're describing points to an allergic reaction.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, the sour warheads, the atomic warheads back in the day, it was like that kind of sour, but that flavor of that Slurpee just sticks in my mind. Because, like, the first 5 seconds of the drink, you're going, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You're probably missing out, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big fan of, like, the Fireball. I don't mind Sinfire so much, because it's not as sweet as Fireball. But, yeah, like, a shot of that in a good cider, that's phenomenal. I mean, it is really good. Like, you get a little cinnamon in there.
And don't get me wrong, I love cinnamon. Yeah. I stock cinnamon sticks for my bar. Yeah. I love good apple cider and good cinnamon cider.
Well, you know what you could do,
but real cinnamon.
Because you could take like the cinnamon sticks and get like a bottle of vodka and then just soak it
I can infuse it
and just infuse it, and then you'll have like a real cinnamon liqueur or something like that at that point, instead of the artificial stuff, and that'd probably be okay.
Yeah, I probably could, and I do really like cinnamon as a flavor. But it's the artificial cinnamon. I don't even like the smell or the taste or the flavor of it, and it's because I have a reaction to it.
Whatever it is in there. The red dye number 5 is probably what it is.
That's either that or the yellow number 5.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, getting into some fun stuff. Let me see if I can finish the beer so we can open the rye one.
Do the rye. I'm looking forward to that one because I do love a good rye. It's essentially watered down whiskey.
Yeah.
It's whiskey in beer form. It's whiskey junior, is what it is.
You want some new glasses for this one?
Yeah, let's do that because this is sour, and then we have an IPA. Let's go get some freshies here. Here we go.
Zelda or Sandy M?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right. Well, I'm keeping my Zelda then.
I should have brought my Viking skull mug.
Yeah.
Hooray! Now, I know I've had this before.
I know
also-
I've had this before, but I know it's been a really long time.
It's been a while, but I remember enjoying it.
Oh god, that color is good.
It is. A nice amber. Such a beautiful color. It's like mosquitoes can be encased in there and you can extract dinosaur DNA out of it.
That is thick. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see how thick that brown color is. It is clear. I can see through it, but it is dark. Oh, that is cool. And that head is kind of like a cream soda kind of color to it.
Super creamy head.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Uh-huh.
Malty, very malty.
Yep.
But still got that hoppy bitterness in the back end.
Yep.
So it's the best of both worlds.
Yep. Oh, so good.
And I just like the malty flavor from a rye.
Yes. Main reason I got the Sierra Nevada samplers. Sierra Nevada actually had a sampler where instead of doing 3 bottles per set, it was 2 bottles per set. Yeah. So you got 6 sets of bottles in a single 12-pack.
Yeah.
And I've been loving the hell out of that thing.
Oh, there is. I don't know if you can find it, especially for people in the Pacific Northwest. There's a variety pack out there for Full Sail. Now, Full Sail is a brewery out in Hood River. Mm-hmm. But this is the first time I've ever seen it in a variety pack before, where one of them is a bourbon barrel-aged porter.
Yeah.
And it is really good.
I've been thinking about getting that pack. Just for that beer.
Well, because they don't sell that variety in 22 bombers or anything. They only sell it in the variety pack.
Right.
And so once I had that, I gave it...
Which is a Widmer Brothers move, because they had their they had one of their shandies one year in that, and then last year they did the...
Well, a lot of them will do a seasonal. They'll
right.
all do seasonals. But this was a big... Because it was... I think it was a porter. It was still like about an 8 or 9%
9%,
beer.
I think.
Yeah. So it was a big bourbon barrel-aged beer that they put into a variety pack.
Yep.
Things that are normally reserved for like a bomber or like the 16-ounce cans or something like a reserved release, they ended up putting it into a variety pack.
Right.
Which I think probably sold a lot more variety packs.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
So
it got me to buy one.
All right. So it's no secret that I like autonomous cars, autonomous vehicles, and drones. I like to follow the industry very closely, and I've been skeptical of self-flying taxis for some time.
Yeah.
However, this is news that kind of puts a smile on my face, because we're one step closer to this being a reality. And that is Paris will be shuttling Olympic patrons to and from the airport and various events via an air taxi as of the Olympics in 2024. Mm-hmm. This will be a sanctioned taxi ran between Airports de Paris and the Airbus and RATP Regional Transport to shuttle you to and from North Paris and the airport, as well as to various Olympic sites that they will be holding the games at. So this could turn essentially a 1-hour trip into about a 15-minute jaunt.
Yeah.
And no gridlock, no getting on a train, no getting on a shuttle or a bus or subway or anything like that. It's literally just hop off a plane, grab your bag, jump in your air taxi, and 15 minutes later, you're at whatever event you want to be at.
That's right. It sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always the potential of a crashing fiery death.
Always the potential of fiery death.
But there's always the potential of getting this fiery crash on the road, too.
Right.
So, yeah, and the nice thing is the design kind of looks, a little like the shuttles from Star Trek.
Right.
Totally. Except for the giant Dumbo propeller things on the side. You ignore those. then it kind of looks like a shovel.
Yeah. So, very, very cool.
Not that I don't think we're going to be going to the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Who knows? Maybe I've got 1.5 million subscribers by then.
Maybe
it's a sponsored trip by Corsair to... By the way, Corsair, hit me up. I will totally check out these helicopters with you.
Yeah.
To check out some big boy fans.
That's right. What kind of cooling power can we get out of these?
Oh, that's a video.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how big of a heatsink can I put onto a...
on a
Ryzen 7.
We'll get a drone propeller cooler.
Mm-hmm. 7th generation Zen processors.
But yeah, that's
his boy Elroy. Jane, his wife. Thank you, chat.
That's right.
Yep.
I've always wanted to have George Jetson's job of just pressing a button all day.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like completely unrealistic because
that's basically what you do.
Well, okay, no, but
it's basically what you do.
I put it in a particular order. That's a little different. He was hitting it one at a time. They had in George Jetson, his job was to press one button at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they had robot butlers and maids.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a robot and butler maid to push the button all day?
That's inhumane.
To the robot or the what? Because they're taking her jobs. They're taking her jobs.
They're taking her gerbs.
They're taking her gerbs.
Yep. The Cog Factory.
Yeah, the Cog Factory.
Mr. Cogsworth.
Yeah, Cogsworth.
Yep. Anyway, so in 2024, City Airbus will hit Viva la Paris to take you...
Paris?
Oui, Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't speak French, if it wasn't obvious.
I don't speak French either.
Yep. So, would you guys take an air taxi? Now, at CES this year, Lyft was offering automated taxis between events at CES. I didn't get the opportunity to get on one, but I did speak to a couple people who did.
No, but wasn't it also at CES where they had the one automated taxi like pretty much crash into something?
No.
No, where was that? That was
a couple of months prior. They had a...
No, it was like a couple of days before, I think.
I remember that.
We had a story about some automated taxi service that ended up crashing.
There was a test or an Audi autopilot, I want to say, that killed someone in a roundabout. That killed a pedestrian.
This was more okay. That's a more serious story. This was serious. This was more like it crashed into a.
There was a robot butler that dove into a pool. There was. I'm trying to remember all the backstories.
They can't speak French.
Well, we learned that when they couldn't pronounce...
Yeah, exactly.
Bourbonnais.
Bourbonnais.
Yeah. How do you spell it? Give me the phonetical pronunciation of that, and I'll
text out
I'll put you down.
Text out the phonetical pronunciation, and we'll butcher that too. I promise.
Hashtag This Is America.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
I don't think they even have like
Bourbonnais.
Bourbonnais.
Yeah, I beat you to it, Skull.
Bourbonnais.
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 We go to Bourbonnais. This is the Bourbonnais. A-Z-E-A's? No, he's saying Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais.
Bourbonnais. Yeah.
I'm glad you can all tune in and listen to us say Bourbonnais for like the last
Bourbonnais?
minute and a half. Bourbonnais?
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 Bourbonnais.
Bourbonnais.
The Bourbonnais.
Is it I got the mustache. Is it Bourbonnais?
That's right.
I thought about doing that. I'm going to go grow this mustache out just so I can get the curl.
Mine can do the curl.
You think you can do the curl?
I've done
the thing is I tried growing this out so I could, but it starts getting into my lips.
Yep.
And it's annoying.
Yep.
And so I start eating stuff and I'm like, oh, I'm chewing on my mustache here.
Yep. Yep. No, I've experienced that as well. I've gone full Jamie Heineman before.
Oh yeah, the whole walrus.
Oh yeah, I've done the full walrus before. Yeah. I've done the full ZZ Top before too. I had a beard that was about that long at one point. Yeah. So that was many years ago. My come to Jesus moment was I had an accident at work, which I took a kickback from a saw into my hip and was hospitalized for a day. And sorry, that wasn't that one. I had a heart episode at work. This was years later. I've been hospitalized from work twice. Yay.
Accident prone.
No, one was an accident, one was a health issue. But basically, I had a heart episode, we'll say, and was hospitalized for a day. And my wife took my picture in the ER, and my beard was like down to here. And I went, okay, I'll shave it. I'll trim it a little bit. So, all right, I almost died. I guess you can have this one.
Now, was it a full thing or was it the Fu Manchu?
It was the Fu Manchu.
Is it the Fu Manchu? You should have just kept it.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I've grown it out a couple times on the channel, but it always curls under. But I had it.
Yeah.
I had it straightened.
Going down.
Yeah.
Straight down. Yeah.
Next story. I only included this because I really enjoy the heck out of this game.
And yeah, and we the Discord people, patrons, we played this quite a few times.
Yep.
Together, and it's a fun game.
And that is 505 Games Human Fall Flat, coming to mobile, Android, and iOS on June 26th. Today.
That's right.
Today.
You can download it.
You can download it today.
I can't imagine what the controls are like on a mobile because it's pretty gummy on a computer. I mean, this is made to feel gummy.
It's supposed to be gummy.
It's supposed to feel gummy.
Yeah.
And it feels right on the desktop.
Yeah.
I might have to just download it just to see how it would be on a mobile.
I'm curious.
I'm curious myself. I'll probably play it for 5 minutes and uninstall it, but I'm still curious.
$5 on mobile.
Really?
And no in-app purchases.
Is it? I don't know if it's the full game because like the Steam version, the PC version, well worth it. Lots of mods.
It's about $10 or $15. I think it was $15. If I remember correctly.
Remember. I think I might have gotten mine in a bundle, but
I'm sure I did.
Yeah. But it's the summer sale right now. If you guys don't know, it is the Steam summer sale.
$7.50.
Yeah, so it's probably on sale right now.
Half price, $15 normal.
So 15, yeah. So there we go.
Got it.
Well worth it either way. I mean, I can't speak for the mobile version. Usually, mobile version.
You can get it. You can get it in a bundle with When Ski Lifts Go Wrong.
That one I don't know about.
Which is looks kind of like a ski-free meets bridge builder. That looks fun. I might have to get that one because I don't have that one yet. You can get the bundle for $10.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So if I add the bundle, I could pay $2.50. Because Steam started discounting bundles if you already own.
Yes, if you already own it, you get a steeper discount.
Yep.
And it's most of the time it's a steeper discount than if you just bought the game by itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So both of them are on sale for $7.50 right now. # not sponsored. I don't get a thing. Go buy the game. I don't care.
Well, everybody knows about Steam already, so it's not like they don't need advertising.
Well, I'm not being advertised by 505 Games either.
Oh, that's true.
So
we just like the game.
We just like the game.
It's a fun game.
It's a good game. You should go play it. CD Projekt Red. So more Cyberpunk 77 news to get excited about. CD Projekt Red says VR support for Cyberpunk 77, quote, isn't terribly difficult.
That is good news.
That is really good news.
Yeah. Because there is nothing cooler than being able to play a Cyberpunk game with the closest thing we have to Cyberpunk technology nowadays. So you can actually roleplay Johnny Mnemonic if you want to.
Yes. With Keanu Reeves as your sidekick.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. Did you ever go back and watch? Because like, as soon as I saw Keanu Reeves come up on stage for Cyberpunk 2077, first thing that went to my mind was Johnny Mnemonic. And I'm like, it's been such a long time since I saw that, so I started like looking up clips again. Yeah. And there's a clip in there where he goes into a VR world. Yeah. And it's the cheesiest thing you've ever seen. It's so bad. It's so funny. It's like one of those. Like you go back and you can watch.
Is it Futurama level? Let's search the web. It's over there.
Yes, it's almost that level.
Nice,
He's like zooming in. He's like, I'm looking through that. He's like waving his arms. Oh, I don't want this over here. I don't want this. Oh, there's my thing. Let's take it out. It's like that's the most inefficient search method you can ever think of. But yet,
especially Leela, because she has no depth perception.
Yeah, she can't tell how far it is. Even in the internet, she has no depth perception there.
Right.
But yeah, you should go back and look. It's very, very cheesy. The 80s future computer genre was not that many out there. Yeah. Matrix is probably the one that holds up the best.
Yes, it does. I wish they made sequels.
But like, what was the one the one that Sandra Bullock was in? That did not hold up at all. Johnny Mnemonic definitely didn't hold up at all.
Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man is 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matrix definitely held up the best.
Yeah. But yeah,
at least the original, because they tried to go way too CGI in the second two.
Yeah.
And the effects were cheesy for the time, especially that multiple Smith fight.
Yeah.
In number 2.
Yeah, that didn't look right.
And number 3.
Yeah.
Nothing looked right about that. And I wish they had stuck with practical effects instead of green screening and CGIing everything.
Yeah.
Because the characters themselves were CGI'd, and that's what made the first one so magical and so timeless. Is the effects still hold up today?
Oh yeah,
everything looks great.
The story was great. The effects were great. I mean, they did still have some of the CGI little flying tentacle sperms. But not that many. Not as much as they did in the second.
But see, I can buy those and I can overlook them because those are more environmental.
Right.
I can overlook environmental CGI as long as your actors are still good. And the actors were still real the entire time.
Yes, that's right.
Even when they were flying around and coming into the cockpit and coming into the loading zone.
And even the stunts that they did at the time were practical stunts. They didn't CGI that.
They were practical stunts with good camera rigs. And innovative camera rigs versus the multi-Smith fight was literally 100% CGI.
Yes, it was 100% CGI, and you could tell.
Yeah,
like it was
that day you could tell.
Yeah,
in the theater and in the trailers you could tell how bad it looked, and that's what really disappointed me about.
Oh
this.
yeah, Skull says Swordfish.
Swordfish
was another one. Hackers was another one.
Hackers holds up.
No, it does not. I mean, okay, even back then, you knew it was fake and cheesy. If you were thinking that, okay, it still holds up for its cheesy value, yeah, I would agree with you there. But as far as
here's the thing that has a timelessness about it though, because they went so over the top as to be stereotypical of what computer hacking should be.
Right.
So when they were visualizing computer hacking, you can take it as like an artistic license rather than, oh, this is what it looks like. And so when Penn Jillette and Fisher Stevens are sitting at the console and they've got the giant touchscreens and oh no, they're in the core.
Yeah.
You know, I can take that as a representation for what they're actually doing rather than, oh, they're actually have these like weird circle keyboards and the AR displays. So honestly, story-wise, it holds up way better than a lot of tech movies from the day.
Oh yeah,
story-wise, it holds up.
Then Johnny Mnemonic, that's for sure.
Right.
Right. I remember that story just being way out there.
Yeah.
Talking dolphin and I don't know.
Yep. VR Cyberpunk 2077 with an RTX on a Valve Index headset must look perfect, and God, I hope it is.
I hope so too.
Man,
I would really like for them to implement that. That would be fun. That would be really cool.
Good morning from Iceland Islands. Where in the world is that?
Iceland Islands.
Hi. When will we see your next video about your travel about Proxmox? What do you want to see inside Proxmox? I have about 8 VMs running right now, from my Unify to Pi-hole. I am working on a Windows distribution server, although that has been slow going because I can't find one that I really like. And Windows distribution, for those who don't know, is a Windows imaging, so I can image a machine and have it install drivers and have it install a 0 point in Windows for any hardware that I want. I've done Windows deployment services before, which is a built-in Windows system for that, but I don't want to pay for the 2019 license for that. Finland. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's in between Finland and Sweden, so I wasn't too sure if it's Swedish or Finnish.
Very nice.
Islands, yeah. No, it says Finland ? So I don't know if it's because it's right in between.
Finlandish, we can call it.
Finland.
Anyway, we got about 10 or 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to talk about?
We can jibba jabba about whatever.
Jibba jabba. Windows distro server video, please. I will tell you, I am certified for Windows deployment services with Windows Vista.
You should do that one.
Oh yes,
that's what everybody's clamoring for.
Oh yes, I can deploy Windows Vista like there's no tomorrow.
Let's.
I have the certificate to prove it.
Let's get the most unpopular craft computing video ever.
Yeah.
A Windows Vista distribution server.
I am certified in Windows Vista distribution. I do have an actual cert in that. It's the only distro cert that I own.
That's one thing that you should print out and hang up.
Yep.
On the wall back here, so everybody can see.
Craft Computing, thoughts on VESA DisplayPort 2.0 spec announced today. Honestly, I haven't read into it, so I don't know, but I'm assuming it's probably double the bandwidth. I heard it was 80 gigabit.
That's really good. Which
is really good, which means we can have 8K 60 displays.
Yeah.
So, that's about all I know. I really can't comment further because I literally saw a headline that said DisplayPort 2.0 brings 80 gigabit. I can't tell you more than that. I'm excited. More bandwidth means more pixels, and more pixels at a faster rate.
Yep, exactly. So smoother 8K rendering.
Yep. 77.4 gigabit. They said 16K 60 hertz. Okay,
16K 60 hertz. That's even better, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be 8K 120 then.
Yeah. That's really good.
I can handle that.
That's going to be a cheap monitor when it first comes out.
Yeah.
Everybody will be able to afford one.
Yeah.
They'll be cheap.
Who couldn't afford $2,800 for an IPS panel?
I know, exactly.
Yeah, no, that came out today. I have had literally zero time to read about it, and I will sometimes read about theoretical or revised technologies. Like I read about PCI Express 6.0. We're 10 years away from deployment, so the spec really means nothing to me at this point. Expensive GPUs to push that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't
probably Intel based.
They'll be out there when the Intel gets their 10 nanometer.
Raspberry Pi 4 projects, go.
Well, we did talk a little bit about that.
Right.
I wouldn't mind doing the bar one.
I've thought about doing a bar one. Wishin says Finland from the Åland Islands.
Finland, yes.
Yep,
okay,
Finland,
so,
yeah.
Okay.
Welcome from Finland.
Finland.
I've thought about doing a bar pie for quite a bit, but I enjoy the craft of making cocktails more than I would probably enjoy a robot serving them to me. And I know a robot couldn't shake, although I might be able to incorporate a shake.
Oh yeah, you can get like those.
But you'd have to do a shake and a strain and a pour, and sometimes a double strain.
Well, there's the challenge right there.
And sometimes like an egg white head.
Get one of those. Get one of those aftermarket paint shakers you get at the hardware store. You can just put your thing like.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I could probably turn a paint shaker into a Raspberry Pi bar.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That would be an interesting project.
Yeah.
But how would you strain it? How would you get it out of there?
You'd have to get like a robot arm that will take, because it's sandwiched in there, right? So
I don't have $100,000.
What, you remember those back in the 80s, the Armatron toy? You can get one of those and just retrofit it.
Yeah, the Robotrons.
Yeah, you can get them at Goodwill for like $5.
Mr.
Sure.
Robotron.
Or get old Rob the Robot. He might be able to do it.
Yep. Intel GPUs and integer scaling should be really good. Yeah, integer scaling sounds like a phenomenal technology. It gets rid of a lot of the issues with anti-aliasing and the overhead that comes with it. And you get a better quality picture without pixel scaling or warping with it. I think it's a great move by Intel. And I'm really curious to see if this is a release product for their GPUs sometime in 2021.
That'd be good.
Yep. Some kind of pump and strainer. But how do you clean the shaker?
Yeah, the shaker once you get it out.
See, it has to be an automated system. And by automated, I mean I press a button, I get a cocktail. I press another button, and I get a different cocktail in a clean glass with a clean shaker and a clean strainer.
And that's why a lot of them already use pre-mixed stuff.
Right.
Because you can't use fresh ingredients, because like you said, they'll clog stuff up.
Right.
The cleaning is just a pain.
Right.
You might as well just do it manually at this point.
Before the show, I made a gimlet with 4 lime wedges in it with fresh mint.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was clapped by me and then put into the glass.
And it probably tastes way better than any
kind of
pre-mixed anything.
Oh.
Yeah. You do fresh ingredients, it's going to be...
Yeah.
I think when you have these automated bars, it's more like the Mount Everest thing. It's there, I want to do it.
Right.
Is it the same as making it yourself?
Right.
That's going to be the better quality thing.
Right. And I'm not saying the automated bar doesn't have its place. It can make me a pretty good rum and coke. It can do things like that.
Yeah.
But anything that requires shaking, straining, or special ingredients or fresh ingredients, like I want 4 lime wedges in this. I'm not going to cut lime wedges just so my robot can freaking serve them to me. Mm-hmm. That's insane. So I would much rather just make the cocktail myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a bit of satisfaction of making your own drink.
Right.
Anyway.
And even then, how's the Coke going to be cold? I don't want warm Coke served over ice because it's just going to melt the damn ice.
Well, that's the thing is you probably have to have cold reservoir, CO2 pressurized,
right,
with syrups,
right,
stuff like that type of thing,
right. So yeah, it'd be fun, but. There's the logistics of me being a craft cocktail enthusiast and really, really enjoying cocktails.
Yeah.
That puts me against doing the automated bar thing because I know how to make it way better than the robot ever could.
Yeah.
I make a lot of cocktails. I've got dozens of cocktails in my head that I can make on the fly that I have fresh ingredients for here at the house. So.
Well, doing another Raspberry Pi project you can probably do. They have the smart glass mirrors. Where you kind of have incorporate into your mirror, news feeds or RSS feeds or weather, that type of thing. Those are kind of cool. But you don't need the 4 to do it. You can do that with an old school Raspberry Pi.
Right. I do like the option of Gigabit Ethernet, and I'm really curious to see if a PF Sense box could hold up to a Raspberry Pi, or rather, if a Raspberry Pi could hold up to a PF Sense box with a Gigabit USB 3 Ethernet adapter. Have I met any tech YouTubers yet? Absolutely. I've met Jay's2 Cents. I've met Salazar. I've met Kyle Bitwit, BPS Customs, Epos Vox. I've stood next to Gamers Nexus Steve about 3 or 4 times. I'm friends on Facebook with Brian from Tech Yes City, and I had a number of beers with him in Vegas this last year. I'm really sorry we didn't film that for you all, but we couldn't have posted anything on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
I've met a number of them, and I can call a couple of them friends. So yeah, coming right along in my own social circle. Social circle.
Yeah.
I have a number of them that I talk to behind the scenes. I ask questions, get their expertise on a couple of things. Everyone that I mentioned there they're excellent people. I enjoyed hanging out with every single one of them. Epos Vox was a joy. He actually flew into Portland for an Intel Ultimate Rig competition and did some judging with Linus this last year. Linus and I'm embarrassing myself because there was someone else there. Was it Ozzy? Might have been Ozzy. No, Ozzy wasn't there. There were 2 other YouTubers there, and I don't remember who they were. But Linus was the headliner, and then it was Epos and 2 other guys, and I don't remember the other 2. But anyway, I actually picked Epos up at his hotel, and we went out and we had coffee and a burger and whatnot, and then I dropped him off on the plane on his way out of town. And he was awesome, and we talk literally maybe every 3 days. We text each other on Twitter. And he's a lot of fun. And yeah, I did have beers with Tech Yes Brian, and it's Bryan. Spell it right.
Different.
But yeah, Rhett and I had beers with Brian in Vegas at where were we at?
That place.
Jolly Roger.
Oh, you're talking about Treasure Island?
Treasure Island. Thank you.
Okay.
Treasure Island. Yeah. We had beers at Treasure Island. We were trying to exploit. We had 3 beers sitting at the bar, and then we were trying to exploit the slot machine waitresses for more drinks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we were dropping a 20 in and going, boy, I'm gonna get it this time. Who's gonna bring me a drink?
In Vegas, that doesn't seem to work too well on the Strip anymore.
It didn't
you
at
go
all.
up to Fremont Street.
I've tried it 5 times on the Strip, and I've lost $20 in flats every time.
You go to Fremont Street.
Yeah.
They're much more pliable up there.
Yeah.
They'll come by and give you the cheap rum and cokes and whatever if you
want. Because I don't mind buying beer at the bar, buying a cocktail at the bar and whatnot. But at the same time, I'd like to be able to drop $20 on a slot and get a free drink or 2.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to milk him, and so we sat right on the aisle, and I dropped 20 in, and Rhett dropped 20 in, and we're sitting there going, boy, man, this machine is really hot. Ooh, I'm on a losing streak. I'm gonna cash out.
What you have to do, the best way to get the free drinks in Vegas.
Yeah.
Even on the Strip, I think this still works. Well, it's been a couple years since I did it.
Yeah.
But when you're walking through the slot machine area, you listen for the jackpot. Yeah. Because they just won big, right? Mm-hmm. So then you go to a seat close to them. Mm-hmm. The waitresses know this too. That's when they start going to that area because they know they're going to get the biggest tips there.
Right.
You just have to be within that vicinity
and
reap the rewards.
Yeah, and see, we were having drinks with Brian at 11 in the morning on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So... Don't know if I should have said that one out loud, but no, all of them were wonderful. I sat and talked with Jay for, gosh, an hour and a half at a party, just chatting about his new house and studio and YouTube development in general. Yeah. Chatted with his wife about how much of a workaholic Jay is. And she said, well, it sounds like YouTube is going to work for you because it sounds like you do the same damn thing that he does. Yeah. And it sounds like you have a wife that'll rein you in when necessary. And I said, yes, absolutely, I do. So that was a great time. I gave Kyle a bottle opener, and Kyle ticked me off. I'm going to go on record that Kyle ticked me off. So we talked about his bottle incident. Mm-hmm. We talked about his this thing. So anyway, I introduced myself. Hey, I'm Jeff with Craft Computing. I'm a huge fan. I've met you once already, but you didn't know who I was, kind of thing. And he goes, oh yeah, great to meet you, Jeff, and whatnot. And I said, so, and he goes, so what do you do on YouTube? I said, well, I'm obviously I do tech review, but I also do a side of craft beer because I'm in Portland and it's the Portland thing to do. And so every single episode I crack open a new beer, and he goes, oh, that's freaking awesome. I love beer. And I said, yeah, I've been watching Awesome Hardware for years. I watched you since your Newegg days. And he goes, oh, that's cool, man. And I said, and can I say, if you ever need help opening a cork, give me a call. I'll walk you through it.
Yeah.
and I told him that, and he goes,
get a little butthurt out of that.
He wasn't butthurt. He was more like, damn it, I have no comeback. I can't say anything to that. And so we talked about basically how it was one of the best things that's ever happened to him. Like this happenstance thing that blew up on Twitch and on YouTube and Twitter all at the same time.
Gave him all this attention.
And gave him all this attention. Now, he's a great YouTuber anyway, and he's a phenomenal personality, especially his vlogs. Like his tech...
Maybe that's what we have to do here. If you want to get those 100,000s, just rig something here so it's going to fall on your head, stream or something. You know,
drop a bottle of scotch or something.
Yeah.
I would lick it off the table.
Here's what we do, is you just get like an expensive bottle of scotch and just fill it with water and food coloring so it looks like you wasted it.
Yeah,
and then it's not so much cringeworthy.
Yeah,
I mean you won't feel as bad.
Right, I won't feel as bad.
You won't feel as bad. Yeah. I won't feel as bad.
Linux Guru, $2 donation. Hi guys, Ryzen 3 or beer money? Ooh. Well, it depends on what CPU you have now, because even Ryzen 3 is going to be pretty good if it's Zen 2 based, if it's 7 nanometer Zen 2.
Yeah.
Now the Ryzen 3s that I've heard so far are still going to be Zen Plus. I would save your money and go for beer. If they do release a 3500, for example, that's not a G, that's a Zen 2 7 nanometer, that's a quad core 8 thread kind of thing. Yeah. That'll kick ass, especially for $100 or $120. So,
well,
I think we need information first.
Yeah.
Now the information that I have is Ryzen 3 is still going to be Zen Plus based with the integrated graphics with the Vega 8 and the Vega 11. I'm a little underwhelmed by that. But if we do get a Zen 2 based Ryzen 3, I think it'll be well worth the money, regardless of the price. I think at $150 it's a good buy. I think at maybe not 170 because you've got the Ryzen 5 3600 sitting there at $199. Yeah. But I think for 150 or less, great buy.
So Quantum Pixel is okay. This is already Q&A. You can ask your question.
Yep. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, we said the floor is open. So Quantum Pixel, go for it.
Yeah.
Someone was asking if I knew Linus Torvald. No, I don't know Linus Torvald, although he does live in Portland. He does live up in
he does. That's right.
Tualatin.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, I know... Can't go into that story, but yeah, I know a family connection to him.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on DisplayPort 2.0? Already gave that away. I only read the basis of it, that it was 80 gigabit per second, and someone corrected me, it's 77.6.
Yes.
So it's not quite 80 gigabit. 4K 480 sounds nice. I'm sure that sounds nice. There's nothing that can drive it right now.
No. Well, I mean, you get...
Maybe in Rocket League or CSGO.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not going to get like some high-end thing. Yeah, get Team or Half-Life 2 or something like that. Yeah, sure, no problem.
Right. At the moment, it's just a spec. Specs are cool to get excited about because we know the bandwidth potential is there, but what hardware is going to drive it, and when will you actually see it, and when will you actually see results from it?
Yeah.
And that's the big question. And I mentioned that I know the specs for both PCIe 5 and PCIe 6, and they're not going to be technologies for another 6 or 7 years. Yeah. So it's cool that they're out there. It's cool that the specs have been established.
It's a small preview window into the upcoming future.
Pentium 3 Tualatin. Actually, most of Intel's chipsets and cores are based around Oregon geography.
Yeah. Northwest geography.
Right. The Nocana cores, what was the i7? Gosh.
It was
Tillamook.
Yeah.
The Tillamook cores.
Because there was a wasn't there a Willamette too? There was a Willamette.
There's a Willamette core. That was early Pentium 2 days Xeon base.
Yeah, but they were all basically Northwest because there's big Intel presence here.
Yeah.
But
yep, 1.5 weeks till Zen 2. I'm pumped. So am I.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
Ruthless is a great beer. I'm really enjoying this.
Yes, me too.
Really enjoying this.
Getting towards the bottom, and I'm getting kind of sad because it's the last beer.
Do you think Intel might drop another unicorn like an i7-5775? No. Nope. I don't think they will. Intel's next move is to unlock all their processors.
Yep.
I'll say it right now. Intel, to stay competitive, they need to unlock the 9400. They need to unlock the 8100 and the 9100. They need to make those processors overclockable out of the box to be able to compete with Zen.
And then
if they don't, they're dead.
And a price drop.
Yeah. There was a story that came out this week that I didn't put in the notes because it was early last week that Intel is actually planning up to a 15% price drop across the board.
That's right.
And what I'm saying right now is I think Intel's next move, short of a 9900 KS, where they go, we get 1% faster for like 3 times the money.
Yeah.
I think their next move is to unlock processors across the board. Maybe even including Xeon.
That's interesting. Maybe.
But can you imagine a 6-core, 6-thread overclockable 9400 for 150? I'll take it.
Yeah.
That makes that chip competitive.
Yeah.
That makes that chip competitive.
Well, especially for the big overclockers.
Right.
They're going to love something like that.
Right. A 9100 4-core 4-thread?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. That'd be fun.
Right.
You can mess with it.
For $130? Absolutely, that's a great deal. And I think that's Intel's next move. Because obviously they have to shut off hyperthreading because of speculative execution, and they can't mitigate it without changing their chips, and they don't have a chip that they can move to. I think they need to go lower pricing, and I think they need to unlock, and I think they need to actually get those clocks to boost up further than they are right now. 3.8 on an i3 isn't acceptable anymore. You need to go 4.2, 4.5. 4.2 on an i5 isn't acceptable anymore. You need to be hitting 4.5, 4.6. And you need to make it an all-core overclock that someone can hit on a consumer board. Make your B360 boards overclockable.
Yep.
That's what you do. Offer BIOS updates where you say, you know what, they're overclockable now. Go for it.
Which they probably will.
Yep. And then you have a competitive product. Right now, you don't have a competitive product, and that's a symptom of Sandy Bridge being so successful and dominating.
Yeah, they're dominating the market.
AMD the way it did.
Yep.
That they said, we don't need to sell these lower clock SKUs overclockable because we want to sell our premium products overclockable so people are influenced to upgrade to those premium products.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So, and the hiccups finally started. 10:09.
Yeah, they go. It's towards the end.
It's a good beer.
Not too bad, yeah.
Yep. I don't think they will unlock anything, just lower prices. I think they're going to start with lower prices. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think they need to unlock.
Yeah. Once the numbers, if the numbers we're seeing right now,
yep,
the 50% isn't going to cut it. And the performance that they're going to get with the new AMD chips coming out, and it's going to be soon. Once the benchmarks are coming out, I think you're right.
Yep.
They're going to start unlocking those chips, and it's going to make it more attractive to the consumer level people.
I think 10th gen chips, short of being 10 nanometer, which I don't think they're going to make it in 2020.
Not in 2020.
I don't think they're going to make it in 2020. I think they may offer them unlocked, and I think that's the only saving grace for Intel is you can get a 4-core 4-thread chip unlocked for $120 that could hit 4.9, and I think that'll save them. It'll at least keep them competitive for another year.
Yeah.
And keep them in the game. But beyond that, Intel doesn't have a move. Like I said, I've said this 2 weeks in a row. If Intel had a move last year, they would have played it.
It's pretty much their only move, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. re-enable hyper-threading.
They need to put hardware mitigations in. The problem is their architecture doesn't allow for that.
Yeah, it doesn't allow that.
They need to completely change their architectural design of their chips to mitigate these effects. This is a hardware level bug. And they're not going to go, oh, we came out with a new chip and it's not affected anymore.
It has to be redesigned from the ground up.
It's because of the memory controller access that the chips have. That's the problem. And AMD's mitigated this from the beginning with Epyc with their VM level encryption. So yeah, 1680 V2. I don't know what that comment is, but it's a great chip. 8-core overclockable Xeon.
Yeah,
phenomenal chip. I have a video coming out in 2 weeks with a 1620 V2 with a 4-core 8-thread chip on an affordable motherboard that I'm hoping to be able to overclock. I haven't tested it yet, but hopefully it's behind Steve. It's right there.
Here. There you go. You can see right there.
That one right there.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep. So, yep. That's a 1620 V2 on an X79 Chinese board. They need to make dual Threadripper boards. That doesn't work with the architecture.
No.
You can have dual Epyc boards, but they're not overclockable. So, on eBay, they're about $220 for a 1680 V2. Yeah, but a Ryzen 7 1700 will beat that at $150 with a cheaper motherboard.
Yep.
Sorry.
You just gotta wait a little bit.
Yep. And a 2700X will kick its ass, and that'll be $199 before too long. And even a 3600 will kick its ass. Mm-hmm. Straight up.
Done.
So to fix it, their memory latency would increase as a result. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The problem is Intel went super low latency for their memory because they don't encrypt it and because they don't sanction it off from the rest of their memory access. And so at the server level, at the virtualization level, and even at the application level, you have bare metal access to your memory. The problem is if you have bare metal access to the memory, you can read other cells that you're not privy to. And that's where all this speculative execution comes from, is Intel will actually guess what it needs to know before it knows it. Yeah. And that's why it's so fast at single-threaded performance. But when you put that in a server application, you can use that for exploitations to get data that you shouldn't have access to getting. So that's the Spectre and Meltdown in a nutshell.
Do you have any interest in World of Warcraft?
You can answer this one.
I know that World of Warcraft has their classic servers.
The new classic servers out.
Which, maybe a small inkling to kind of go back. Because I played WoW. I actually was in the beta. Mm-hmm. I was an early adopter. I was like one of the first people to start playing it. I played it up until the second expansion pack. And then I stopped and I never went back. Mm-hmm. So not really too much. I don't have the time for an MMO anymore.
Right.
In fact, I don't know if you noticed my shirt. It's
Dark
Age of Camelot. That was my jam. I love Dark Age of Camelot. That was before World of Warcraft. I loved DAOC. Me and my wife both played a ton of that.
Brian says Wendell from Level 1 Tech said on one of his motherboard vids about ASRock Base Clock 2 that he could overclock non-K 8th Gen i7s. A base clock overclock, the problem with that is you can only go so high. Most of the most recent i7 and i9 chips, you can only get about 103 to 105 base via the 100 base. And you're talking about a 3 to 5% increase from that. And they haven't been really stable even at those. So where I could overclock a 3.7 or 3.8 9900K to 4.9, which is a 25% overclock or a 30% overclock, the base clock I can only get an extra 5% out of. And that's true even in the 8th gen series. So yes, you can always do a base clock overclock on a non-overclockable i7, but it's not stable and it's not consistent and it's not very high. So unlike the X58 chips where they clocked them super low at 2.66 and then you can get 4.7 out of them.
Yeah.
Those days are gone because Intel hasn't improved on their design and can't get any more frequency out of their chips.
They're just scraping by their old laurels.
Yep. And I think that's going to do it. It's 10:15.
10:15.
We are 15 past the hour.
Wow. Okay.
That Q&A kind of flew by.
That
you
went quick,
flew that beer.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Well, you just got like 2 swallows left. That's not that much more. There you go. Choke it down. All right.
87, episode 87 of Talking
In the
Heads.
bag. We are done.
In the books.
I know. It's getting warm up here.
It is.
Let's finish this thing off.
Thank you guys so much for watching episode 87, Talking Heads, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing. Follow Steve if you dare.
If you can find me.
If you can find him. He's a hard guy to track down.
Yeah.
But you can follow him.
If you're on the Discord, you could probably find my Steam.
That's right.
There.
That's right. Anyway, same time every single week, 8 p.m. Pacific time, on Wednesday nights. We do this live show. Usually lasts about 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. And, we'll see you next week.
Oh, are we?
Oh, no, sorry.
There we go.
July 3rd. We are taking July 3rd off.
Because it's so close. So close to 4th of July.
Yeah, so there will be a memorandum.
Yeah.
We will see you, July 10th?
Yeah. So we're 3rd of July. We'll probably ramp up our... Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, July 10th.
Yeah, July 10th.
We will see you July 10th. Mm-hmm. So no show next week for 4th of July. We'll be all getting drunk at barbecues instead.
Exactly.
Good night, everyone.
Guys.